Hello, good evening, and welcome. You're through to Clint, and this is the Inview. This is the weekly show. We have a plethora of guests come on and talk about their lives, what they're doing, talk about themselves, and talk about where they're going and what their views are on certain things that are happening. My apologies for everyone that wasn't on Wednesday, but we will be back Wednesday, and we got a massive show on Wednesday, I can tell you now. And before I go on to that and what I'm going to talk about in news of the week, because obviously, you know, it's not dead news at the moment. There's stuff happening all the time. And, you know, it does try our patience. You know what I mean? So looking ahead to the show tonight, who we got on? Well, we have got Moira Wilson on. She's been on a couple of times before. She's a Reiki master teacher, angelic Reiki master, a shamanic practitioner, and she has a Facebook group called Mediumship by Moira and All Other Things Holistic. Looking forward to her. She's very down to earth, and she's a truth seeker as well. And this is what the show's about. The show is about people's different points of view. It's about giving an open space for people to basically have their say, which are not being allowed to in this reality. And this is devoid of normal rubbish that is in the news. This is bringing something different. The whole basis of the show, the interview, was to bring a show about that I could express how I feel about certain things. They're my feelings, and they're no one else's. Other people, if you want to agree with that, that's fine. If not, that's fine as well. So 7:20 tonight, we've got Moira Wilson. 7:50 tonight, we've got Teresa Searle back. It's fantastic to have her back on. She'll bring us astrological guidance for the month of February and beyond. She's an intuitive astrologer and natural mindfulness guide. And then at 8:20 tonight, we've got the return of Grant Hicks. Really looking forward to him. One lovely guy, very spiritual being who wants to get the most out of life and try to get people to see the funny side of things. And he has very strong views on the reality we live in. And then at 8:50 tonight, we've got a surprise guest, and I have no idea who that is at all. I hope you've all had a good week out there. I missed you all on Wednesday, actually. Of course, the Wednesday show we brought it back last few weeks, really, because we're in lockdown, this ridiculously imprisonment place. We're not in prison, but in a way we are, because we've had all our civil liberties taken away, all in the name of COVID. And obviously, we've seen the press and the news. Hello, Jace, my cousin Rose joined us. How are you, young man? It's good to see you. We've all seen the press and news and the things they come out with constantly, and the live, what I can only call fear porn that's constantly coming out. And if we look at some of the things that's in the news, obviously, in regards to COVID, you must remember that when I talk about COVID, I'm not having a go at the people that are on the front line, in the nurses and the doctors and everyone else. I am just bringing a different take on things. Because one of the things that's quite interesting this week that was brought out was that this COVID that we have now has actually, we got control measures in place, stopping flu in its tracks. Why are they not stopping COVID? Because apparently flu doesn't exist anymore. Even more than that, pneumonia doesn't exist. How many people do you know die of pneumonia now? But you know, all of this underlying hides a bigger factor. And the bigger factor is that, you know, there are an enormous amount of people, 1,700 people a day, die in this country, in the UK alone, of all sorts of different things. And if we look at, and the fact is that apparently there is no seasonal flu anymore. That's why when you go on Worldometer and seasonal flu deaths, this is not COVID. Seasonal flu deaths around the world this year alone is 50,795. So for them to say it's not around is an absolute whitewash. I'll tell you another figure on here that's quite astounding, and I bang on about it all the time, because we do have a situation where we have got lots of people that suffer from cancer, terrible diseases, life-threatening diseases, heart disease, all manner of different things. And you know, nobody's talking about these people. They bring it up occasionally on the news, but it's all about COVID, isn't it? And the real pandemic is the 4.5 million people that are not being looked at right now, where there is no real excuse for them not to be. But I just want to pass this figure by you. This is this year alone, and we are on the 7th of February. So we've gone a month and a little tiny bit. So not very long at all. But in that time span already this year, deaths this year by cancer alone is 850,343. 850,345. Sorry, it's just gone up one. That is in the very short space of time that we have had in this year so far. Can you believe that? It's just astounding. And nobody talks about anything like that because it's all about COVID. And, you know, one of the things, and I have this question all the time, a lot of people probably get bored of me saying it or whatever, but Gemma says, took 1.5 years for a scan of mine to be rearranged. Yes, absolutely. It's absolutely disgraceful. These people, you out there, you people are being let down by this government because they don't care. They stand up and say they care, but they're lying, in my opinion. That is my opinion. If we look at the figures for the deaths so far, this is interesting as well. I mean, all deaths is, all deaths is very sad and it's great loss. But, you know, unfortunately, for whatever reason, we live and we die. As soon as we're born, we're on a road to ending our life, basically. But it's what we do while we're here, and it comes down to many different reasons why it happens. If we look at these figures, this is really strange. If we look at Northern Ireland has had 1,922 deaths. It's got apparently 107,000 people that have had it. In Scotland, they've got 185,000 people have had it, and they've got 6,431 deaths. In Wales, they've got 196,000 that have had it, and they got 4,961 deaths. In England, there's 3.44 million people have had it, and 98,778 people have died of COVID. Those figures are strange to me, very strange, and it doesn't sit well with me that you know, we've got 4,961 in Wales, 6,431 in Scotland, and 1,922 in Northern Ireland. And in England, we've got 98,000. Something's not right somewhere. Something is not right somewhere. Now, for all those people out there, and I know that people like myself that don't agree with the establishment, don't agree with what they're doing, that, you know, we sit in a place and time where we are even starting to be called domestic terrorists because we don't agree with the conformity of what people are saying. Gemma says, and no flu in 2020 or in 2021 apparently, but there is, because I've just read out a figure that 50-odd thousand people have died so far this year in a month and a little bit to this year have died. 50-odd thousand people have died of seasonal flu. Moira, who's on very soon, she's on at 20 past 7 tonight. Moira says, my daughter's waiting for an appointment at the dental hospital to remove all 4 of her wisdom teeth. Don't understand how it's taking so long. I totally agree with you. It's because everything has stopped. One of the problems we've got here is we've got a government that is completely inept and devoid of any understanding or any balance. Because what we've got is a National Health Service that is condemned. It's not run properly. It's got loads of middle management that shouldn't be there. It's desperately short of people, as well as they've got too many people in other areas. The NHS, not just with this government, but successive governments, is a flagship for this country. But at the same time, it hasn't had the proper finance funded to it. It hasn't had the proper vision and focus. And, you know, in 2016, they were doing what you would call exercises in a pandemic outbreak. Funny that after Bill Gates went around the world telling people in 2015 coronavirus is the next pandemic, basically. In 2016, they were practicing this. And when they were said, well, we're all geared up for this now and all sorts, which clearly they wasn't. They're completely inept. All of them should be taken out of government immediately. I don't feel they're going to last, in my opinion, because I don't think Boris or any of his people there are going to last at all. The problem is the people buy into them because they believe in what they're saying. And let me tell you something now, that if you believe this government, there's something desperately wrong with you, because you have to look between the weeds of what they show at you in fear. Because I'll tell you what, it's not just about coronavirus, it's about many other things as well. And not just how we're lied to, but the complete and utter destabilization of society as we know it. Because, you know, you can look back. I was watching a documentary last night, documentary stroke film, which was very much about Hitler. And Hitler actually, the person that was found in the bunker with Eva, his wife, was not Hitler, was a doppelganger, in other words, a double. And Eva was double as well. And, you know, for years after, I'm going to talk more about this on Wednesday, but for years after, he was seen repeatedly and testimonies by people in Argentina, by anything from maids to people who work behind bars, to people, to guards, to all manner of different things, because there was a massive presence in Argentina in regards to sympathy for the German Nazi party. And that's where he went, and that's where he lived. I haven't watched it all, so I haven't seen when he dies or anything like that. But if anyone tells you that he is dead and they found him, they're lying. It's clear as that. So if they're lying about that, what isn't COVID just a simple thing to lie about? They're lying that Hitler is actually dead. I can't get a head around that. And then on the other hand, another person I'm going to talk about on Wednesday is Elon Musk. Now, this is an interesting character. This is somebody that I feel has come from the future that is here. Now, he has a partner and he has a child. I'm going to talk about that on Wednesday as well. But this man is allowed to do what he likes in this reality, and no one seems to stop it. We have so many different people there saying, oh, you can't do this, or you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. He's building hundreds of thousands of miles of tunnels underground in America right now for new super highways, basically for cars, and certainly for his cars as well. And his cars, by the way, are absolutely out of this world. His knowledge and wisdom is way beyond the realms of our understanding in this reality. And one thing he talks about, and I'm going to talk about it on Wednesday, is Neuralink, which is basically converting us from just human into half cyborg by an implant in our brain. I'll go into it in more detail on Wednesday, but you know, in one hand, he's bringing all this technology, and also he wants to cultivate life on Mars, and he's doing loads and loads of other things. At the same time as he's doing this, he's doing loads of interviews, and he's telling people everything all about it. And at the same time, he's telling people that this is very dangerous. So in one hand, he's developing this and creating it because it's what he's probably got in the future. But on the other hand, he's also telling us this is really dangerous, and there should be some sort of jurisdiction on it, or there should be some institutional understanding to it. And one of the things is there is nobody there stopping him doing exactly what he likes in this reality. Nobody. There is nobody standing there saying you can't do this, you can't do that. He just does whatever he likes. He's sending rockets up whenever he wants. He's doing whatever he wants to do, and nobody says anything. Gemma says we have rapid 15-minute tests now. There's no reason for treatment delays anymore. I agree. And Gemma says makes you wonder if Epstein was a switch too and he's still alive. I actually feel Jeffrey Epstein is alive, and I do feel that because the man had so much money, and I'm going to talk about him on Wednesday as well, and the royal family. So we've got a lot to talk about on Wednesday, but Epstein had so much money, was such a powerful person. He wasn't hanged. Nobody found him. Nobody hit. The lights were out. Things didn't happen. No surveillance cameras. That was a body double put there. And you know, I don't want to sound like I'm a complete conspiratist, but my truth that I feel is what I feel within inside myself, and I feel very strongly that right through our history we've been lied to on a scale you would not believe. Gemma says I want to ask Elon Musk for the lottery numbers. Yeah, yeah, that's a really good idea, actually. A really good idea. We got 5 minutes away from Moira joining us, which would be really, really lovely. Let's have a look and see what else has gone on this week. I'm just bringing up, yeah, this one here. This is a classic chestnut. This is, and this is where people just don't get what they're being told. The Who, not the band, Substitute and all that, good band, mind you, Roger Daltrey. The World Health Authority has stipulated and stated that for the vaccines, we must not merge them. We must have the same vaccine. But all of a sudden, our government is saying, government are trial mixing vaccines because it'll work and it's going to make things much better because we're lying through our teeth to you again. And the age-old question I have is the fact that, you know, today, apparently, we've had 724 deaths of COVID today in England. That's happened today. I'm going to ask the same old question that I'm nearly so bored of asking myself, is the fact that why we got so many people still dying of COVID if we're all in lockdown. We've been locked down a month. We got another month to go. And of course, the magical day is the 22nd of February. That is the day that we have got the amazing Boris Bonkers, who doesn't know how to comb his hair, coming up and telling us the roadmap out of the lockdown. And one of the things they're toying with, and you've probably seen this, but you haven't, make sure you're sitting down with what I'm about to tell you, because it's hysterically funny, but at the same time insulting. One of the things they're thinking about is opening pubs in April, but get this, they're not allowed to sell alcohol. So I don't know what it is. What is it with alcohol? They don't want people mixing. They don't want people having a drink, because I do feel that they will be very worried if people get inhibited. Oh my God, how dare you actually enjoy yourself? How dare you express yourself? You're not allowed to be like that anymore. You've got to be completely communistly controlled. We control you now, and we're telling you what you're going to do and not do. The fact is, you can't go into, apparently, I don't know if it's going to happen or not, between April and May, 1 month, we are not going to have pubs that sell alcohol. They will sell food and they will sell soft drinks, but they won't sell alcohol. I'm my head's blowing off at that. It's just mad. Now, obviously, everyone out there knows that I like a beer. And it's not the be all and end all. It's not life and death. You can't have one. You can go to the supermarket and buy one and all sorts. But having a beer in a pub is very different to having a beer at home. And, you know, we got to be able to recreationally enjoy ourselves. And they have taken everything away from us. And then they're slowly drip feeding us with what we can do. What else we got here? This is an interesting story. The Health Secretary Matt Hancock has told the Hollywood thriller Contagion helped to shape the UK coronavirus strategy. Coco, said Matt Damon, pandemic movie helped him release the importance of securing enough supplies of coronavirus once they're approved. Matt Cock said, I did watch the film. It is actually based on advice of very serious epidemiology. I can't even say the word. And sources have claimed that at the start of the crisis, the health secretary constantly told his advisors he thought the 2011 movie showed how the pandemic would play out. Well, it probably is, because this pandemic is scripted, isn't it? Thank you, Mr. Cock. What else have we got here? What comments we got? Let's have a look. Gemma says, you know, the government is up to something when they are happy to lose the tax on alcohol. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But it's not just about that. It's also about the millions of people that are suffering through mental health. It's also about the enormous amount of abuse that's come up. And I mean, you know, we've got a massive mad spate of knife-ins going on all over the country at the moment. Croydon, all sorts of different places. People are at their edge. And there's no reason to go around stabbing people. It's absolutely disgusting, and the people want locking up. But you know, people are on the edge. They're pushing people to the edge. And we have Moira, hopefully, on the phone. Hello, Moira. Are you there?
Hello, Clint. How are you?
Yes, I'm very well. Thank you for calling. You stopped me keeping on ranting, so that's really good.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
No, it's just a ridiculous place we sit in at the moment, isn't it?
Oh, it's really difficult. As I said on the comments, my daughter's having so much problem with her wisdom teeth. She actually has to go into hospital to get them removed.
Oh.
And she's had antibiotics upon antibiotics upon antibiotics, and nothing's clearing the infections or anything. The only thing that will help is to actually get the teeth pulled, but she can't have that done in the dentist because of all the nerves and roots and all the rest of it. And I just don't understand. Operating theatres, my mum was a theatre sister, and they are the cleanest places in a hospital.
Yeah, they are. They are. So you can eat your dinner, you can eat your food off the floor. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're sterilised every night. The dirty operations are the last operations in a theatre during the day, and then they're sterilised down. There's one operating theatre left open, and that's it. Yeah. So why have your tests, your COVID tests, make sure that you're not on a positive, and then why can't you go in? These doctors, the specialists in dental, like eyes and even...
Yeah, but what are they doing at the moment, Moira? What are they doing?
I have no idea.
Because they're obviously furloughed.
Yeah, I don't know what they're actually doing, and it's getting to the point where I am getting a little bit angry, but which isn't good for me. But
no, and you're a very passive person normally, so yeah, don't get too angry. I won't. You know, I could get really angry at what I'm talking about on here, but you've got to keep it on the level. You know.
That's it. But the red hair and the fact that I'm a Leo, you know, I am a fire sign, so I have got that combustible. I will go eventually.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, antibiotics. We build up an immune system to ourselves with antibiotics, don't we? Because it and obviously I don't think they do us any good a lot of the time, and that's why they stopped giving it to us, basically, which surprise did something right. But you know, we're looking at, as I said already, a massive, huge, cataclysmic problem with the NHS anyway, before this even turned up.
Well, it does go back a number of years, doesn't it? I mean, as I say, my mum was a theatre sister, and so was my sister. And, you know, it used to be a dedicated profession. I'm not saying that the people that are in it now aren't in it, not the nursing staff or the doctors, but there's more pen pushers.
Yeah, there's a lot of middle management.
Definitely, the money seems to be going on the management side instead of it going on the wards.
Yeah. And obviously, you know, when they're saying that the hospitals are full to capacity, they're not full to capacity, because what you'll find in a ward where there's 30 beds, there's probably 15 because they're spaced out. So they've got less beds for a start.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean?
That's right. I know. And I did laugh the other week when I saw, because I am now banned from watching Boris on an evening, because as soon as he comes, yes, my daughter's banned me from watching him because as soon as he comes on, I just start swearing at him.
Well,
so I'm now banned from watching him.
Well, you see, the thing is, Boris is only a mouthpiece, isn't he? He really is. He I don't think he likes where he sits at all with it. I feel that he wanted just a 4 years of being silly in government, basically, which is what he's really good at. But unfortunately, he's got to man up, and he's got to find some backbone and all sorts, and he's put in a very difficult position. But you know, he's created an even bigger position by making the decisions he has, which he's got no attention to detail to.
Oh no, I mean, but it was saying that the beds in London, the COVID beds in London, there was more beds there now because the cases were going down. Yeah, because they've shipped them out to all the other parts of the country.
Yeah, but
so yours and mine and everybody else's are going up.
Yeah.
And theirs are coming down now. Their figures look as though they're coming down. I have nothing against anybody in any part of the country, please believe that. But, also, up here we had a massive case of people getting the injections. My aunt had both of her COVID injections, but then they've taken them away from her because there was too many people up here being vaccinated.
Right.
So I don't understand that. Does it matter where you get vaccinated?
What do you mean? They were saying that there's too many people there, so you can't get vaccinated. Well, that's a bit silly, isn't it?
No, there was enough vaccine to cover a lot more people, but they've taken it away and distributed it to other parts of the country. I know a man who's 81 who should have had it about three weeks ago, but because it was taken away, he's now had to wait until I think he's got another 2 weeks to wait before he's now allowed it.
Have they been second vaccinated up there as well? Have they?
Well, we got a lot of vaccine, and we got people.
Because you've got to have 2 jabs, haven't you?
Yeah, my aunt's had both of her jabs.
Okay.
She got the first one before Christmas, and she's had the second one just after Christmas. She's now out of her 3 weeks, but she's still not allowed out. Yeah.
And what is the advice on her when she does come out? Is she allowed to go out and not wear mask and not social distance?
No, she hasn't. She's still been told to stay in.
Right.
And she did ask if she was allowed to mix with other people who have had both of their vaccines and have been in quarantine for another 3 weeks. And no, you're not allowed. So I don't understand why.
Can somebody explain to me? I'm sure it's a question you have on your lips. Can somebody explain to me? Because, unfortunately, the people of this country, a lot of them are not quite the full shilling. So a lot of people will think, I'm not talking about you or me, but there are people in this country that think, well, I'll get these vaccines. It's all going to be great. I can go outside. Everything's going to be good. I can go and hug people, go to the pub, do this, do that, doing everything else. Only to be told, you've got to wear a mask. Well, first of all, you've got to stay in your house 3 weeks, you said. And then you can't come out. And if you do, you have to wear a mask. You can't mix with other people and you have to socially distance. And you can't go to shops and pubs because they're not open. So
exactly.
I don't understand the logic behind completely and utterly. I'm not me personally, my own view is I'm not going to get vaccinated. I don't believe in it. I don't want any of that shit put in my body. That's my own opinion. If people want to do that, that's fine. I understand that. But people are looking for an easy way out here of finding a way of moving forward, but they don't know, because there are people that had allergic reaction to the vaccines. But it comes down to the personal choice of the person. And then they're talking about that if you haven't been vaccinated, would you be able to go on holiday and all sorts of that? Well, the government announced you can actually. They are not going to bring in a COVID passport, so that's one thing at least. But I cannot understand up there where you are, all these people are being vaccinated, and then they're saying we can't vaccinate anymore here, so we're going to take it somewhere else.
That's it.
But there is a massive gap here as well, because there is a massive gap between the first vaccination. Now, I know somebody has had 2, which is really good, but there's a massive gap, which the World Health Organization has said should be a minimum of 21 days, I think.
Yeah.
And the government here, who obviously in their infinite wisdom by their Chris Whitty and Valance, who seem to know everything, are like gods, that are complete and utter twats in my point of view, that are guiding this government to say, oh no, don't worry about 21 days, let's make it 12 weeks, it'll be fine, because the first vaccine is the most important one. And the thing is, the sad news is that obviously we have different variants, because as you know, viruses do gather pace and they do change, and as they change and evolve, we have this African one that apparently some of the vaccines cannot do anything with. So you've got to ask yourself, what is the point of having one?
It's a very difficult situation to be in,
Yeah.
And I think everybody needs to look at it from their own point of view.
Absolutely.
I would never tell anybody to either have it or not have it.
No.
I do believe that, I know that what Boris has already said, that it won't be part of your passport, but I do believe it will be a part of your passport. I do believe that.
Yeah, but aren't we going down a difficult and dangerous road here? Because we are destroying our country and the will of the people. The 4.5 million people, like your daughter that needs an operation. 4.5 million people have not had their operations or their scans or their checks or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know.
And what we're asked to do is stay in our house, which in effect, we're not in prison, but we are. We can go out for a little while, but when we have to go back, it's like we got tags on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like a house arrest.
Yes, it is. And
it is a house arrest, and it's just a little bit like Nazi Germany, where he expects the people in your street and to phone the police and tell them that if there's anybody else in your home or anything like that. But it's okay for a builder to come into your home. Or it's all right for the electricity board to come into your home.
Yeah.
Or the water board.
Or the police.
Or the police. That's all right.
Yeah.
But it's not all right for to have, I'm not saying have a wide number of people that you mix with, but we're social animals. We all need to have that connection with somebody. We all need that physical touch. And that's what a lot of people are finding extremely difficult. And it was proved, was it in the Court of Human Rights, that it's not allowed to keep people away from their elderly relatives in nursing homes.
No.
All those people that have been vaccinated in the nursing homes, and now people still can't go and see them.
No.
Why? Why? I don't understand that.
I don't understand either, because with the whole ethos before this came about was that we were out there mixing and mingling with people on a constant basis. Sometimes we got cold or flu or something. Sometimes we didn't. And some people, obviously with outlying issues or whatever, maybe got something worse and maybe had to go to hospital to get it sorted out. We know that between November and February, this is NHS red alert time. Do you know what I mean?
It always has been.
Yes. It has. You're right.
It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. It's just that it's a different thing that's coming forward this time. It's not the bit that really gets me, Clint. And do we calculate our rate of COVID and differently, because we seem to have such a high number?
I've just read it out.
The world.
It's mental.
You know,
it's
to the rest of Europe, to the rest of the world.
Look, in Northern Ireland, there's been 1,922 deaths. Scotland, 6,431 deaths. Wales, 4,961. England, 98,778. But they're not all COVID, are they?
No. How do we calculate? I mean, when my dad passed away last June, I made sure that it wasn't on his death certificate. He would have haunted us forever. He would have absolutely haunted us. But you
see, the problem is there's something desperately wrong going on here, because there's lies being told left, right, and centre. And I've said all along that we've got the Nightingale hospitals. Apparently, the one in London is empty. I mean,
well, so it's the one up here.
Yeah,
I think they disbanded the one up here.
Yeah, so they spent millions and millions fitting them out. What for? Just for a propaganda exercise? Because
I would have thought the Nightingale Hospital would have treated like minors.
Yes.
Minor problems.
Yeah.
And the hospitals would have been kept for either COVID or cancer patients or, people that were seriously ill.
Yeah.
The Nightingale hospitals could have done, the minor bits where, where you need to be seen,
it's obvious,
but it's
isn't
not
it?
life-threatening.
I mean,
there's so many people that aren't getting their chemotherapy and things like that because of this. I don't understand
Because
Why?
everything stopped. Everything stopped for COVID. You know,
But
but
it's not the be all and end all of it. You know, life.
as I said
This
before,
is a half life that we're living at the moment.
What about all the people that have died with other things, but they haven't because we haven't heard about them? I mean, apparently in the world this year, and we're only a month and a bit into it, this year alone, we've had 850,811 deaths in the world of cancer.
You know, that's a disgusting figure on its own.
That's in a month and a bit.
You know, that is an absolutely disgusting figure. That comes from Worldometer, that does. You know, in this day and age, if we can bring out a vaccine that can supposedly stop us from getting COVID, how come there's so many people still dying of cancer?
I know we all have it.
One form or another.
I know.
Yeah, it just mutates. It's cells and things like that which mutate, etc. But if we can bring out a vaccine so quickly to try and stop COVID or give us a protection against it, how come people have been dying from cancers?
I know, 850,800, it's one gone up, 826 people this year have died of cancer.
I mean, it's people's mental health as well, Clint. I'm actually working in conjunction with a very good friend of mine, El Rochester. We're going to set up some groups to help mediums who have got health, like mental health problems at the moment. Because as a medium myself, and as you are, we're asked so many different questions. And because we work from the home, it stays with us. You know, yes, we can put our protection up and we can let things go, but it still goes over your brain time and time again. Yeah, and there's so many people that are asking, you know, when will they send? They want messages from their loved ones who have just passed from COVID, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And a lot of the time we can't give them what they want. And it does affect us. So myself and my friend, El Rochester, we are actually setting up groups to help mediums.
That's good, yeah.
To cope with this, because most of us work from our own homes.
Yeah. Well, we're not allowed to go out, and we're not allowed to go to fairs and things like that.
So we're working from our own homes, and it is quite oppressive. And, you know, when we're bombarded with stuff from spirit and from the clients, then in as empaths, we feel everything. And
yeah, we feel the density on the earth plane.
Yeah, so we're kind of putting out a group to where, you know, a safe space where people can, where the mediums can talk about how they feel.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're getting bombarded from, not only from the earth, but we're getting it from spirit who want to help their loved ones here as well.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, that is something that we're just about ready
that's
to
really
launch.
Good. That's a really good idea. I feel that's a really, really good idea. I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying, and as soon as this came out, I knew it was flawed. I knew it wasn't real. But that's what you pick up, what you see. But as you say, you do get bombarded by lots of people that aren't in that zone. It is you know, we've had our third lockdown now. It is about, in lockdowns, it is about, and this is the problem with people, they're not looking at themselves. This what the problem is. They're not opening up what they have within inside themselves, because they've had things taken away from them that instead of looking at themselves, they go out and buy something, or they go somewhere or do something. Now they have to stop and look at themselves. And it isn't easy. It isn't easy when you're in an oppressive place and you're stuck in a prison cell, which is what it is, even though it's your home and you can walk about in it. You can walk outside, but you can't walk outside very long because you're going to get fined. And you know, it's the longer this goes on, and the way they're talking, I mean, they're talking about this going on for a long time, to be honest, because even by the end of the year, we're still going to have masks and social distancing, and by then everyone's going to have the vaccine, supposedly. And you know, as Gemma just says here, convenient, they say there's a new variant every time they want to control. And this is gone out of the realms into La La Land. This is into a fairy tale, a nightmare fairy tale. Do you know what I mean? This is a film you watch on TV. Has Matt Cock himself says he watched Contagion, whatever it's called, and said, yeah, that's exactly how it's going to be, because they probably run it against that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Gemma says he, as well as the film, Matt Cock also read The Idiot's Guide to Pandemics. Yes, I think he did. There is only one solution here, because the country and the people are completely, I feel, dissatisfied, fed up, and had enough of this government, of lies. And there are people that still believe them, unfortunately. But
I think more and more people are getting to the point where, how are we actually going to get out? You know, the amount of distant healing that I'm actually sending out to people on a Reiki level is out of it's
off the radar.
I mean, the list, it's like, it takes you ages to read the list and to connect, and there's more and more people that need help in so many different ways, whether it's on a mental health basis, whether it's on a suicidal basis. You know, even if you did want a crisis team to come out, well, are they allowed to come out? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, and how can you talk to somebody with a mask? The bit that really bugs me about Boris is he walks out of that little door and he's got no mask on.
No, he hasn't.
Neither of his two cronies. And they've got no perspex screen in between them.
I thought you were going to say they've got no personality. I'd agree with that.
Well, they haven't. Well, that goes without
I wouldn't want to meet Chris Shitty on a dark night in an alleyway, because I think he'd be some alien from Repzoid waiting to eat you or something.
Well, it does come across that way, but they're telling us that we have to stay inside, and my daughter works part-time in a supermarket, and she has to wear a mask, and she's behind a screen, and blah, blah, blah. But they're walking out. Now, how big is their bubble, is which I want to know.
Yeah.
There's no perspex between the little plectrum, you know, the little stand thing.
Yeah, but if you watch Boris, he can't even answer a question.
No?
Because Boris isn't actually in control of this country. The scientists are.
Well, I wouldn't put my life in those scientists' hands, because their mathematics just don't.
They don't add up. Plus, you've got a vast percentage.
They bombard us with such big numbers.
Yeah.
They don't tell you how many per head. You know, how many is this in? You know, there's just figures, and they're just massive
well,
figures.
Yeah, and but they do it in a way that you're not meant to understand it, but it just looks good. But the thing is, you've got other doctors like Vernon Coleman that I spoke about on here a couple of weeks ago, who gave a completely different story of what's going on. He's eminent. He's PhD. He's wrote hundreds of books, and he tells you that this is all a load of rubbish. He really does.
It's really, really difficult, because I do think it will come down to a point where if you don't have a vaccine, you won't be able to have a job. You won't be able to move around the country. You won't be able to go abroad.
That happens, well, I feel we're heading into way uncharted territory, because I do feel that my own opinion is, I feel that Boris and his group of over millionaire buddies that sit in the cabinet are going. They can't stay there. They can't stay there. And
well, they can't.
I feel that there will be a unity government.
Well,
with no Keir Starmer.
For a long time, they should have, you know, this isn't a war footing that we were on. It's not us against, like, in the
but divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. There is a war going on, but it's very subtle. It started way back in Brexit. Leave or not leave. And then we're moving into this, and now it's the people that believe in this and the people that don't believe in it. And the people who don't believe in it are gathering pace. And this comes down to lots of other things. Just looking at, you know, you've had it in America with the very strange and false election that went over there, which the people on top of their pandemic and everything as well. Gemma Brooks says Chris Whitty is from Uranus.
I like it. It's funny.
Oh dear.
Oh my.
And I think he probably is actually. And Gemma Brooks says when everyone has had the vaccine and still there's lockdowns, then there will be riots. Look, I feel the British people take a lot to riot. If we're in France, my God, they'd be on the streets now, and they are, because you know, unlike France and Spain and Italy and Belgium and Germany, we haven't got a curfew here. They have in France, just across the water, where you can't be out after a certain time at night.
They do in Spain.
Yes, and you have to actually prove where you're going in Spain as well.
Yeah, the Guardia Civil stand on, or the local police stand on the corner of the streets. I've got a lot of friends in Spain. I used to live there, and they stand on the corner of the street because each designated street has its specific time to go out, and they'll give you one chance to be late. And the next time you're fined, and the next time you're locked up. Yeah. And they will kick your butt. Yeah. If you come back late. Yeah.
Well, you know, what world are we living in? Is this the 21st century? I don't think so.
It's a very
It's fascism. It's fascism.
It's a different form of fascism than the one that was around in World War II. But it's still there, and it always has been. But the amount of people that need like healing of some kind is just skyrocketing.
I know it is. Yeah, you're right.
You know, and a lot of the light workers out there, we have to heal ourselves first and foremost before we can. We
cannot take anything on from anyone. It has to go immediately.
And that's why, you know, we're setting up this group to help mediums and probably other light workers as well, because we are feeling the strain.
I feel you're right. I feel you're absolutely right. And I think it's an extremely good thing to do.
I mean, we are going to put it out for the public. It's not going to be on private groups or anything. We are going to put it out there for people to contact with, so that they can, you know, because if we can help them, then hopefully they can set up their own group, and you know, this can go around.
It does come down to networking. It does come down to community, and it does come down to support mechanisms, because you know, unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that don't ask for the help. Do you know what I mean?
That's it.
And they sit there and they don't ask for it, but they're going through fear. And this is without the people that live on their own. This is without the people that are living in I mean, God knows what the Samaritan's phone line's like at the moment. It must be red hot.
It must be. It must be really, really bad. All of these places, they must be getting inundated, and it affects their mental health as well. The people that take the phone calls. I mean, I live in South Shields, and there's the cliffs. The amount of times you see the helicopters going up because somebody's
jumped off. I know.
Somebody's gone over, and it's, you know, as soon as the helicopters go up, you kind of know, especially when they head towards the cliffs.
Well, on another scale, on Worldometer again, and this is so far this year, suicides in the world is 111,117.
It's a disgusting amount. In the 21st century,
yes, it is.
There are still people that feel as though that is the only route, solution.
The only way to go is to leave.
That's it. You know, people, a lot of people seem to think that they're weak. It must take an awful lot of strength to actually get yourself to the point where you think
in that zone.
There's
yes,
nothing else I can do than to take myself out of this situation permanently and for good. Unfortunately, it's the people that are left behind that have to deal with that. But, you know, when people ask me about suicides and stuff like that, you know, most people that in spirit who come through who have taken their own lives are very, very sorry for what they've done to their loved ones on the earth.
Yeah.
You know, subjecting them to it, but they'll always say, I couldn't see any other way out. And now with this, you know, it's such, I don't know what the world's going to be like when we can eventually get out of this, if we ever get out of it, because the longer it goes on, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, but I'm not just an optimist. I feel that there is an end road here. Because
there's got to be.
Because this it's not gonna carry on like this. This is destroying everything in our world, in our country, in our world, which is stopping people's progression, stopping people moving forward, stopping people on all levels being creative, bringing themselves out. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the children that are being born now, they don't know anything other than this.
No, they don't. And they will never know how to hug.
They have no, apart from their own family.
Yeah.
They have no other contact with people. And if they are out and about, they see everybody with a mask on.
Yeah.
They have no social interaction with other children.
Yeah.
To learn how to interact and how to socialise. Really, it's like going to puppy training class, isn't it? I mean, you know, the best thing you do at the minute is to have a dog.
We used to watch in China, everyone wear masks because obviously they've got horrendous pollution and toxicity in the air there. And now we got it here.
But, I mean, I've been to China and I never wore a mask in Shanghai.
No.
You know what I mean? And it doesn't stop them from getting all of these things. People still died in China.
Yeah, but it's, you know,
regardless of whether they had their masks on or not.
Yeah, there is questions about wearing a mask because it stifles what is meant to come out of us. Do you know what I mean? If we regurgitate it.
And then you've got young people who they're supposed to be making relationships with whoever, and how are they supposed to do that? Older people who aren't in a relationship, perhaps they want to be in one. Yeah. How are you going to meet people?
Yeah, but they don't. You see, the thing is, what they want to do is stop people reproducing. In other words, they want to stop people actually having sex and meeting people.
Oh, well, there was that thing, though, wasn't there? The sex police. Yeah. If you were caught having sex out in somebody else's house, they were going to arrest you. Well, how were they going to police that one?
Yeah.
What?
Absolutely.
Peek through your windows? Come on. It's getting
silly. I know.
It's getting stupid.
Yeah.
But, you know, as I say, my friend and myself, Elle, we've got this plan, and
I think it's a really, really good idea.
We're going to roll it out, and hopefully we can attract people from all over the world, hopefully, and, you know, then they can help people as well.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do. I mean, we have a lot of other things up our sleeve, but at the moment, that's the big thing.
Well, I think it's really, really important, and I think you're doing a really, really good thing. Jen Brooks says sex police will prosecute people 9 months later. Can I just say, there is a person that's come into this chat and put in there, Jen Brooks inbox me for card reading. The person's name, which I'm sure it's not your real name, is Hisahola. Yomi, can you please get out of this room? There is no one in this room. You're just one of those awful, bloody awful trawlers that come in to try and get people to have readings and all sorts. You can piss off, basically, and you're going to be banned from here anyway. I don't want anyone like you on here. I had a couple last week, and I've got one in here at the moment that thinks they're very clever, but they're not. You're an arsehole. Get off my site. Sorry about that.
No, I quite agree. I mean, you get them all the time on, like, trying to be added on to your groups and stuff like that. And, you know, I have a look and I go, no, I always go on an energy vibe. If I don't like the energy of a person, you know, they don't get
but
added.
This is blatant. These people come on here and they inbox me for a card reading, all sorts. It's absolute bollocks. And I'm not having it.
I had one, I think, the last time I was on. Your show. And they inboxed us. And
it's because they see an audience and they think, well, I'll go on there and I'll get some readings and all sorts. They're not spiritual. They're horrible people. You're scum of the earth and you want to fuck off. That's what you want to do.
I mean, you read, I read. There's probably a lot of people that are mediums in, you know, in light workers, whatever we want to call ourselves. And it doesn't matter what connection you have to spirit. You know, whether it's on a Reiki level, you're still connecting to the universe, you're still connecting to spirit, because that's what we are.
Yes.
Eventually, you know, that's where we start and that's where we'll end up again.
Well, we're nearly run out of time as well, which is a real shame. I don't know where the time goes as we're chatting away. It goes so quick.
No, it does.
I know that you have your group on Facebook, which is really, really good. Which is Mediumship by Moira and All Things Holistic. And you, as you said, you're setting up also groups and that to help other mediums or anyone, basically. So I think that's very valid. You carry a lot of good energy and you're doing a lot of good work as well. And you know, it's never enough time when I guess on, because you know it just goes. But we will get you on again, Moira, because you're always really interesting to have on. And thank you very much for input tonight.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me on.
And if anyone wants to get hold of you, if anyone wants to get hold of you, they just look you up on Facebook.
Yeah, if they look me up on Facebook, Moira Wilson, or on my group, then you know I will. I normally have a look at people first. As I say, I work on an energy level. Yeah, I know what you mean. But thank you very much, Clint. No, it's been fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And we will get you on again, Moira. It's brilliant. And I will speak to you later. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Moira. Bye. Bye. They are. I don't know where the time goes on this show. Absolutely bonkers it is. I should maybe span them out a bit more, the guests and all sorts. I don't know, but you know, we have got coming up next Teresa Searle, who's going to give us enlightenment of what's going on in today's world through the stars. Michael Vickery offering a very dubious service. You're not kidding. The person shouldn't be on here at all. Hello, is that Teresa? Hi, Clint. Hello, Teresa. How are you? I'm sorry that we're a bit late as normal. You probably get used to it by now. Oh yeah, I'm Mercury's retrograde, so just to let people know out there, Teresa still hasn't been on for a little while, but she brings us our stars for the month normally. What's coming up for individually star signs, as well as what's going on in the ether as well. And you have your own website, Inuit Soul, and you do lots and lots of other things as well. I know you're a very busy person as well, but thank you very much for coming on tonight, Teresa. I really do appreciate it. You know, what the bloody hell's going on?
Well, you know, we're living in an illusion right now, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Simulation. A simulation.
Yeah, it's like two different realities going on, and what we're seeing isn't necessarily the truth of what's really going on. You know, it's it's a very kind of. I mean, we are in, you know, a year of a crossroads. It's the year of change, which can go either way. It's expect the unexpected, and in some ways, you've got to think about the insane is the sane and the sane is the insane, because that is what's going to kind of be portrayed a little bit right now.
Absolutely. Can you believe that the people still believe in the people that are telling them that they're looking after them when they're not?
But you've got to remember, this is years and years, you know, since the 1960s, really. It's the media, isn't it? It's like, they say it's a stimulation, and, you know, it's a hypnotism, and, you know, and it's just gone through ancestry, families, you know, it takes
hereditary. You're right. It is hereditary within people that they've been born and brought up in a way to believe that these people are telling the truth. It's been going on for years, as you say, years and years and years.
But they're really ramping it up right now.
It's gone into silly land, hasn't it?
Yeah, because they know a lot of people are waking up to it, so they're like, just portraying, you know, with the inauguration. I mean, that fascinated me. It's like,
the inauguration.
What show are we watching here?
I know.
Yeah.
When they stand up and they say that we are a democratic country and all sorts, it's not even their country.
Well, yeah, it's all bonkers. Like, are we watching a stage? Is it a stage being put up for us to show us?
It has to be, Teresa. It has to be a stage. I mean, you know, I'm sure Joe Biden's a very nice person if he's in old people's home or something, but running America at 78.
It's, you know, well, we all know who's pulling his puppet strings.
Yes, we do.
You know, so it's it's a very, very interesting year, and it's very important that we stay in hope and truth, and feel confident and liberated and believe in peace, rather than the fear and the worry and the loss and thinking that we've got to follow an agenda because it feels right. You know, some people have actually reached out to me and said, you know, I've been told I need to have my injection. What do you what do you think? And at the end of the day, everyone's got free will.
Absolutely.
And I give my opinion, but it's up to that person, because if they feel that they need to, then they probably, that's their choice, you know. And I think it's important this year to remember that, because the divide is kind of what they want.
Yeah, this has been here for ages. Divide and conquer. It's been going on for a very long time. Brexit, God knows what else that's gone on that as well. Divide America with an election, as well as a pandemic and everything. And in this country, we've got this pandemic, which you've got two sides. You've got one side that's growing, that does not believe in anything that they're telling you, and one side that completely believes everything they say. So it's divided again. But as you say, you're right. I'm not on here saying don't have a vaccine, because I wouldn't do that, because it is down to personal choice. I'm not personally going to have one because I don't believe in them, because I don't want any crap put in me.
No, and you know, and again, you know, it's personal choice, isn't it? And it's very hard. You're speaking to a group of people that are all, you know, wanting it. So it's very difficult.
Because but you have to look at the psychological reasons why they want it, because they think they have these two vaccines and then they'll be able to go out and live a normal life. But what they don't realize is, as many people, like Gemma said before in the past, is the fact that when these people have these vaccines, they're still going to social distance. They're still going to wear masks. They're not going to be able to do what they want to do.
You can still catch it. You know, and still spread it, and it, you know, it's creating the fear, isn't it? And it's always been about the vaccines. I think, you know, it was created to bring out this vaccine.
Yeah, but then they're talking about you might need in the autumn a booster vaccine as well. So you're not only going to have two; you could have potentially three.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of countries aren't accepting it. You know, they're doing their own test. They're not agreeing with it. So you know, if we're going to get as far as, you know, half the population, I'm not sure that it will, you know, and get that far.
They come out with such stupid things. Like Gemma says that I heard Boris saying, it was on the front page of newspaper, it's illegal to go on holiday. It's illegal to go on holiday. It's illegal to leave your house. It's, you know, you have to be imprisoned. Do you know what I mean? In a subtle way.
It's scary. It's what Hitler did with the Jews, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So again, there's a pattern. You know, there's always patterns in history that we need to look back at. And remember, you know, people don't talk about the fact that everybody thought Hitler was okay in the beginning. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
no, it's funny. I started talking about him tonight on the show in the beginning because I watched a program on YouTube where it actually categorically proves he never died. and he lived in Argentina for a very, very, very long time with a lot of eyewitness accounts. So, you know,
another puppet.
Well, it's all an illusion, as you say. It's a simulation. We're in a big game.
Yeah, I mean, this is the year where things are going to, you know, a light's going to be shone on it, you know, and, you know, some people are still not going to be able to see it.
Yeah.
So, and it's just kind of, you know, being there and guiding people, you know, helping them to wake up. Everyone's on a different journey, aren't they? And
they are, but a lot of people are joining up, which I think is really, really important. And as Gemma says there, don't trust the COVID hotels. What happens when there is a hotel variant? Can they stop you leaving? I mean, you know, and they're talking about going around knocking people's doors. They're going further into civil liberties than ever. Do you know what I mean?
And you know, they're using the excuse of the new mutation, and you know, that's an excuse to get in and do that, isn't it? But
yeah,
you know, they're fighting for their lives this year, so it's kind of.
So what does the stars foretell over the course of the next few months with what we sit in?
It's like, you know, it's a tale of two halves, and it is kind of like, you know, because the big players this year is Saturn and Uranus. Saturn is all about power, control, dominance, being ambitious, wanting to get to the top. And then you've got Uranus, which is like looking outside the box, creating new things. So there's a real kind of battle going on here between, you know, good and evil.
Positive and light.
And also power and freedom. And, you know, there's just so many things kind of like at play. And they conjunct 3 times this year, and it's coming up on the 17th. It's the first one of the year. Okay. It's going to be like a bomb going off. So, you know, this is a day we need to look out for, because there is going to be some interesting things that will be happening. But because, you know, Uranus is all about the unexpected, it could go either way. And this is the thing with this year. It's like, it could go either way. But there's 2 stories at play here.
There is. There's reality and non-reality.
Yeah, we've been living in this non-reality for a long time, haven't we?
We have.
And it's what we've got used to.
Yeah.
So, it's very, you know, there's
one of the things,
reset, and there's 2 kind of resets going on as well that people may not realise, that there is 2 battles of the kind of reset that, you know, people and the powers that be want, you know. So it's, it's going to be, there's like a bullying vibe coming up in the air, so people need to be aware of that. And it's not just with the government, it's with, you know, people in big workplaces, and, you know, someone is that kind of way where they are really ambitious, they will tread all over you, no matter how calm you are.
Because there's hundreds of people outside waiting for your job.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting, I mean, we've got a lovely week next week, to be fair. There's a lot of nice things going on. It's quite, you know, we've got Valentine's Day, and it's actually one of the first Valentine's weekends that are really nice and lovely and romantic and quite, you know, loving and compassionate. So it's going to be an interesting week next week. So we've got the new moon in Aquarius as well, which is a really good moon to be thinking outside the box, thinking about what you want to bring into your life moving forward. There's not a lot of other conflicts going on that day. So it's a really it is a nice week coming up this week. But like I said, the week after, it's
drops down a hole.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like the bomb's going to go off, you know.
On the 17th of February.
It's like true, so 17th of February. But like I said, it happens 3 times this year. So we've got June the 14th, it happens again. And then December the 24th. So, you know, it's going to be happening all through the year. To me, this year is going.
They're very close to equinoxes, aren't they?
Yes, yeah, the next 2 definitely are. So very interesting kind of, you know, vibes. We have got a lot of planets in Aquarius, which is a positive thing. Because you are thinking outside the box of new things, but I don't feel that things are going to really shift until Pluto moves to Aquarius, which isn't until 2023. And I feel like that will be when there will be the bigger shift, because what comes after Aquarius is Pisces, and Pisces is illusion. So, you know, this is going to, you know, play out for a little while, but we've got to believe it's going to be a positive outcome for everybody.
What about my something I feel very strongly psychically, or within the realms of what's going on, is the fact that I feel, I don't know if it foretells it in the stars or anything, but I do feel that this government, Boris and his government, are going to be kicked out.
Oh, governments, it's all going to change. Like, there's not going to be governments the way that we see them anymore. It's going to change. And that is a big thing about this year as well. Like, it's all going to come undone. It's not going to be the same. So, but again, there's that tale of two sides. You know, is it going to be the new world order, or is it going to be a peaceful kind of, you know, we're all looking out for each other energy? Because, you know, is it going to be both? Are we going to be dealing with both?
I mean, in relation to our government, how long? I don't feel that they've got very long, to be honest, before this happens.
Well, you know, but it's the election coming up, isn't it? Like May time. You know, and April, May is quite an interesting kind of time of, you know, change again. So it will be interesting to see how this plays out this year, but they're going to dig in deep before they go.
Yeah,
for sure.
I know. But they've lost it completely, because when you see them standing press conference, they don't know anything. And the government, we're not being run by government, we're being run by Chris Whitty and Valance.
But again, you know, they're all puppets, aren't they?
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
they are.
There's more to it than that. So yeah, it's a very, very interesting year. But like I said, it's important to look at ourselves and feel how we can change and make ourselves happy rather than waiting for other people to do it for us.
We have to stay positive, because I know there'll be an end to this.
It's like we're on a roller coaster, but we are actually more in control of it than what we think we are.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it feels like.
They fear people. Like, they fear people like us, because we see through them.
Well, they can't hypnotise us, can they? So, yeah, it's very,
and what they do is they change our environment and make life difficult for us in our environment, but they don't make life difficult for us inside, because they can't get in.
No, and that's the thing. And it does take, 21 days to change a habit, and it's, you know, I think it has affected some people to the point where got used to it, and they, you know, want to be in that kind of bubble because it feels safe.
Yeah. Gemma says it's a shame we can't have a reset of MPs. And Shaz, evening clinic, question for all: if there was a contraceptive vaccine, but you could still get pregnant, and you still had to use a condom, and was told that you still had to pull out right at the last moment, would you take it?
Oh yes, I've seen this many times on Facebook. Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, you know, all the list of ingredients, all the vaccines are on the government website. Yeah. So it's like, look into it yourself. You know, the Oxford one is like really not good at all. Like, none of them are, but it's just, people just need to use their own initiative and trust their own intuition.
Yeah. And
go with what they feel is the right.
Absolutely, I agree. And it is about researching. Before you put anything in your body, you should go and look at that immediately. Go and look at the government website. Look at what's in the vaccines. Then make your decision. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
and it's there back in mind. And that's the thing. It's always there for us to see. They never hide anything because they have to put it out there.
Well, the thing is, they don't hide anything because they put it in front of our faces most of the time. But a lot of people don't see it.
No, exactly.
Now, I know you've been very, very busy. And I know that did you say you haven't got the star signs for everyone this?
Oh no, what I've done, I've written a little thing about the Mercury retrograde, and I've pulled a card from Teresa, Sacred Traveller, for each sign.
Okay.
So I can do that for everybody instead, because I'm working a second job at the moment, and just finding it hard to find the hours. And
I understand that, and I really appreciate you coming on tonight, because you really are part of the Inview family. You come along and you talk a lot of sense as well.
Oh, you're welcome. And to me, this retrograde is like, what is time? Like, time is just, it's going really
It
fast.
doesn't mean,
and it's
yeah, but it
lost
doesn't mean anything to anyone right now, because we could go to bed whenever we want and we get up whenever we want. And that is if you're doing nothing. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes, very true. Okay, so I'll go into my interpretation of the stars coming up.
Okay.
For February. So for Aries, Mercury's gone retrograde in their house of friendship and community. So be aware that there might be stuff going on with friendships and within the community that maybe is stressing you out a bit, or maybe you need to resolve something with a friend. But it's a really good time to actually resolve things. So don't let things kind of like get to you. Just try and sort things out. But there may be friends coming to you like needing some help or guidance as well. So just be aware for Aries that is what will be going on. Now the card that's come up for Aries, it's overcoming obstacles. And it's kind of like the sword and the stone. Like, you can pull that sword out of the stone. You've got the strength to do it. You can overcome anything. So you might have been through a really difficult, tremulous, like I want to say kind of like 6 months. It's been really difficult, but you're coming out the other side now, and you will start to see the light again. And, you know, there's a robin on this card, and the robin always, to me, is all about, you know, new beginnings, new life, and they just make you smile. So it's a really nice kind of like period for Aries where they can overcome their obstacles. So, you know, take the challenge head on. Don't hide from anything, and, you know, take it on. You've got the strength to get through. For Taurus, Mercury is retrograde in the house of career. So be aware there might be a lot of stuff going on. You might be working a lot of hours and just feeling everything's a bit stressful, or you might be thinking about changing career. There's a lot going on for you right now. Look out for new opportunities, because although Mercury is in retrograde, it can cause hiccups. It can also bring like opportunities and help you to look further into the things that you want to do. Taurus, their card they have got is crossing bridges. It's all about a time for healing, connecting, mending and releasing. So anything that you've been holding on to that you haven't released yet, like maybe you're feeling a bit overwhelmed and you want to have a good cry, it's like a really important time to just like let it out right now. Don't hold on to things if you know it's affecting you. It's also a time for you to start looking after you, setting boundaries and saying no to some responsibility. And once you like start to do that, you'll feel so much freer and be able to move forward. The Gemini, the Mercury retrograde is in your house of travel, so be aware that when travelling, that there might be some delays. Always check you've got enough petrol in your car, enough water, you know, that you're prepared, especially in the weeks coming up. It's going to be very cold and icy, so be prepared, Gemini, for travel. Their card is navigating by the stars, and it's all about following your bliss. So what is it you really want to do? What have you been putting off because you don't feel that you're worthy enough or you're good enough to do it? It's like, just do it. Just go for what you want. Maybe there's a new course or, you know, somewhere like you want to visit. Obviously right now, you know, it's not very possible, but think about it. You can plan for it. It's, you know, the world is your oyster right now. So what is it you really want to do with your life? It's time to start making plans. Going on to Cancer, Mercury retrograde is going to affect joint finances. Now, this can be a positive thing because this could mean that, you know, a partner gets a windfall or some extra money from the family or through work, and it will help you feel a lot more comfortable and secure within the home. Maybe you might decide to do some home improvements, but, you know, like I say, Mercury retrograde doesn't always have to be negative, but also look out that, you know, there might be some family matters that you might need to deal with or paperwork that needs sorting out. So, yeah, that's the Cancer. The card that Cancer have got is great adventure. So, you know, it's time to take a risk, venture forward, and start looking forward, because Cancers tend to look back to the past and, again, kind of stop themselves from moving forwards. But this card is saying, just go for it. Just trust, you know, in your own intuition, what you want to do with your life. You know, it's a really good time for Cancer to actually, you know, put themselves out there a little bit more and just believe in themselves, because it will be successful. And I feel in the next year, there'll be quite a lot of positive changes happening for Cancer.
I think that's relevant to Gemma because she says bang on and says, oh, yes.
Oh, that's good to hear, Gemma. Okay, Leo. So Leo, Mercury retrograde is in your house of relationships. So obviously watch out for those arguments with loved ones. This could be like an ex suddenly pops back up in your life and you're having to kind of, make decisions going forward. If you haven't dealt with it from the past, it might come back to you now to sort out. Maybe there's a relationship that needs healing and you need to sort out right now as well. So yeah, relationships can be very important for Leo. The card that they have got is Finding Sanctuary, and it's all about opening to your spiritual source. So, Leos tend to be quite ambitious. They work really hard. Find some sanctuary, find some space, find some peace. Connect with nature. Maybe get yourself like a dream journal or listen to some meditation, and like open up to your spiritual side and stop being so busy. Like just take a step back and just find some peace in your life. Moving on to Virgo, Mercury retrograde is in that house of health and work. So again, it's like finding a balance. I like to make sure that the work-home life balance is kind of there, that they're not doing too much, because Mercury retrograde will make sure that they take a step back and rest if they do not find that kind of balance. And maybe Virgos are thinking about their health and wanting to change a few things. Maybe they're still eating quite a lot of leftovers from Christmas, and they're thinking, I just want to get back into a health routine. So that would be important for Virgo. Their card they've got is Miracles, and it's kind of saying like the new moon coming up, that expect wondrous to emerge, like so new things, new opportunities, new doors opening, kind of like expect the unexpected in a good way. Like you're very good at manifesting right now, so make sure that you're manifesting positivity, because as soon as you go into negative mindset, you'll find that you attract that. So keep your mind positive and miracles will be there for you. So yeah, important month for Virgo. Libra, their Mercury retrograde house is creativity and thoughts. So they might find that, they are a creative person, but they're feeling like it's blocked at the moment and they can't kind of move forward. But actually, Mercury retrograde can be really good for creativity. So, if you're putting off something, whether it's, painting or a musical instrument or, doing something a bit different outside the box, it's a really good month for you to be, connecting with your creativity and thoughts. Your dreams might be heightened at the moment as well, so keep a little dream journal just to see what's going on there. The card that they have got is Fellow Travellers. Support is all around you, so you might be feeling like you're walking this lone path right now and you've got lots of stuff going on, but this card is saying the support is out there for you. If only you could reach out and see it and see how much, how many people do care and do want to support you. So don't, block yourself off and your emotions off because you don't want to be a burden to others, because there's so much support for you out there. And, the rainbows are here and, there's a positive, outlook coming forwards for you. The Scorpio, their home life might be affected with this Mercury retrograde. So if you've got children, it might be really difficult right now with homeschooling and you're just finding it really stressful and just need to find some time for you. It just might be like too much and you're not able to clean the house or, do the things that you want to do to the house. So just make sure that you take a step back and just find some time for you. Also be aware that you might find that there's a few things you might need to sort or fix around the house. The card that Scorpios have got is In the Flow. So this is saying that everything is smooth sailing, everything is going to plan as it should. So try not to push forward too much because everything is as it should be. And, you might be feeling a bit panicky right now about moving forwards with something or a situation, but this card is saying everything is as it should be, to go with the flow, take a step back, not to worry that, everything's going to work out as it should be. The Sagittarius.
Great sign, Sagittarius.
Yeah. So your communication might be affected right now, so you might be finding it quite difficult to, well, actually, I normally find Mercury retrograde, you end up speaking your truth a bit more than maybe what you normally would. So whereas you might titter around people, you might actually not when Mercury's retrograde at the moment. So it's just just be aware of how you communicate. but also this could be affecting like emails, phone calls, and things like that. Also look out for things like electrics playing up, like in the house or the car, because
my broadband went down last week.
So it's like those are the kind of pickups you might be having at the moment. Now the card that Sagittarius have got is fogged in. So it's kind of saying that, you're kind of feeling like things are really foggy right now, and you're walking through this thick mist of fog, and you don't actually know which way you're going to go. Like a bit like what we were talking about earlier, Clint, which way is, things going to, turn out, where are you going? But it's just saying to you to go slow and take your time. And there's kind of like a Viking kind of element coming in here as well. Kind of going back to kind of Viking roots. I don't know if that's something.
Yeah, definitely. I stood on a boat with swords in my hand. Yeah,
and it's like just that feeling, of being in that Viking boat, and they just trusted where they were going. So it's important that you like just go slow and take your time and just trust that. Again,
it could be the same as being in a Bermuda Triangle, to be honest.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Totally. For Capricorn, it's their security and possessions that might be feeling a little bit up and down at the moment. Of course, Capricorns are very ambitious, and they do worry quite a lot about money and finances. So it's like they might feel, that they're having to spend out for things that they weren't expecting at the moment. But it's important that they try to not be too worried about it or too materialistic about things. So just it might be emotionally as well. They feel a little bit kind of like not knowing where they are, and that could be connected to kind of work or a relationship, but they might feel a little bit vulnerable at the moment. But their card they've got is actually passion and pleasure, which is a lovely card because it's all about enjoying life and having fun, doing something new and different out of the box, maybe something that you wouldn't have normally have done. Maybe like, I know we can't do a lot at the moment, but it's almost like setting up a disco in your kitchen, or just, playing some games, just doing something a little bit different. It will just make you feel happy right now, and will just lift your energy. And Aquarius, that we have got, lots going on for Aquarius right now. It's a really important year for Aquarius. There's lots of changes that are going to come in, but it will be a positive kind of shift and change. But they're questioning a lot at the moment about their individuality. And Aquarius, obviously, Mercury's retrograde in Aquarius, so it's going to be making them feel a little bit confused, not quite knowing who they are, what they want to do. They maybe want to change their job, but they even though Aquarius are the freedom thinkers, they do worry about change. So, they might go back and forth a little bit about making changes, but they could be sure that Uranus, their planet, is going to bring in changes for them. And this applies to the whole year, but this next month is going to be that kind of not quite being confident enough to make those steps, but they will get there. Their card that they've got is taking shelter. So they need to connect with their inner self and trust that the answers are within. So they just need to trust their inner self. So again, like I was talking about earlier, like not talking to too many people about, what their opinion is, and listening to their own opinion is going to be the most important way of moving forward this month for Aquarius, because they have all the answers within, and they're going to feel they're going to be very enlightened this month. There's a lot going on for Aquarius this month, so they really should trust their inner sat nav. Really important for them. Pisces, so Mercury is retrograde in the house that connects to their emotions and their sleep time. So they might be finding sleep time quite difficult. They might be having really heightened dreams right now. They might be feeling like they want to shut off emotionally and not kind of connect to people too much, but it's a really good time for them to kind of go within and think about what it is they really want, and kind of maybe write down how they're feeling. But like I said, they may not want to be sociable too much this month, but it will kind of help them to connect with themselves a little bit more, and listen to their dreams is important. The card they've got here is First Light, and it's all about beginning a new cycle. So it's almost like they are in that cycle at the moment of needing to take time out to rest, to take a step back. but a new cycle is going to come in quite soon for them. And next year is going to be really important for Pisces moving forward. But again, so they need to start planning and thinking about what it is that they want to move forward with. But there is a new cycle, upon Pisces, which is actually more exciting than they can kind of imagine. So, so there you go, Clint.
Absolutely incredible, as always, Teresa. Absolutely phenomenal. And you know, you bring such illumination to us when you come on every month. It's fantastic, and you know, very interesting as well. Very, very interesting. And I say it every time, but the star signs themselves. Before I do that, just excuse me for 1 minute. Hishola, Horiyomi, or whatever your bloody name is, get off my site. I'm going to ban you. Nobody wants to have a card reading with you. Stop being.
I'll tell you, Clint, I always get this when I do live readings, and you can just click on their name and report them. Yeah,
I'm going to ban him and him or her and report them, because they're fraudulent, and nobody wants to know anything about you, young man or woman or whatever you are.
I mean, they're doing it all the time, unfortunately, aren't they? It's really difficult.
Yeah. Absolutely terrible. But I was going to say, it's you know, your enlightenment is fantastic. What you bring is amazing, and I'm really great that you'll amalgamate to show. And obviously, we're going to get you in. Mike, he sent a message to Michael Vickery, and he said, "Go massage yourself." Gemma says, Gemma Brooks said, "I had a private chart made with Teresa, and it was bang on." So that's really good.
Yeah, that's Gemma. Yeah, Gemma had a relationship chart with me.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been fantastic having you on, and we'll get you on again. I'll book you in again for March. I don't know what date that is. You have to let me know when you're free. Okay. And I know you're very busy and all sorts and that at the moment. So you know, we're whenever you can fit us in, really, is a great thing. So. And you want to stay safe out there. And as you said originally, the fact is we got to stop worrying, and we got to hold our positivity, haven't we?
Yeah, it's really, I mean, it's normal, isn't it, to feel negative. And this is the thing, and it's like, you know, there's always yin and yang to everything. Yeah. But if we do feel that negativity, it's really important to make sure we say something positive to bring ourselves back up. I mean, I find going for a walk is the best thing. Like, it just brings you back, doesn't it, to who you are, and it just clears your mind. But it's just finding ways to not allow the fear of other people in a lot of ways to like affect. Yeah,
and it is so difficult, as you said, because there's such a divide. That's the problem. But we have to hold our truth.
Yeah, and we're here obviously for a reason. So you know, and if you think about it, there's more people living now than ever before. Yeah. So many of us have chosen to be here. Yeah. For this reason of what we're going through.
I agree.
So the outcome has got to be good. Yeah. Because why else would we choose to come back for the 100th time?
We're expeditionary. Yeah, I agree. Fantastic. Well, and if anyone wants to get a hold of you, they can get a hold of you at www.inuitsoul.com, is it?
.co.uk.
And obviously contact you at Teresa Searle as well. And your website I've just gave out, but you've got that on Facebook as well, haven't you, Inuit Soul?
Yeah, so it's Teresa Searle, Inuit Soul on Facebook. I'm on there as well.
Fantastic. And it's been a pleasure, and we look forward to having you back in March when you tell us everything. It's going to be lovely.
Oh yes.
No pressure. No, thank you very much. It's been really enlightening.
All right, take care, Clint. Speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. The amazing Teresa Searle there, and we are late with our last guest, but we're going to get him on. But we're always late on this show anyway, so you know what, doesn't make any difference, does it? Hopefully this is going to be Mr. Grant Hicks. Hello, is that Grant?
Hello, Clint. Yep, sure
Hello,
is.
Grant. Sorry, you know what I'm like. We run over, don't we?
Oh, sure do.
How are
How
you?
you been?
How are you?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good.
It's
Pretty good as
fantastic
always.
to have you back on. I always love you coming on the show because, you know, we go through mind-bending stuff when I get you on, because we're very like-minded people, and obviously very open. I'm just going to read a comment out here before we start, because I know you're a truth seeker and you've got your own group on Facebook and you do lots of stuff in that as well. Shaz has put a comment on it. It says family members are now having the prick that will make them sick and are avoiding pointing the fingers at me for not doing the right thing. And it's people like me that will keep this fake virus going. So now I'm using my energy for better things, for a better world that we know is out there, ready for us all. We are heading to the fifth dimension. We're just in the dark and muddy swamp fourth dimension. Wade on through, and anyone on the way that wants to go with you, give them a hand. I think that's quite interesting. So how far down the rabbit hole are we at the moment? It's absolutely bonkers, isn't it, with COVID? But, you know, I want to talk about something else as well as COVID with you, because, you know, I'm going to talk a lot about this on Wednesday, but I'm going to touch on it with you because I know you have an infinite knowledge of different things as well. I watched a program on YouTube, a film actually, that was made of Hitler, where it was reported that the person that was Eva and himself that were in the bunker were not themselves; they were doppelgangers, and that he lived out his life in Argentina, which I knew anyway, if you like. But this is testimonies by people that were waitresses or guards or whatever you want to call them, because they had a massive majority of people in Argentina that are affiliated to the Nazi philosophy. And doesn't that just prove one thing? Let's forget about COVID for 1 minute. Let's look at the fact that we have been lied to on a scale beyond belief, because everyone would tell you that are in power, oh no, he died in a bunker, and he didn't. And they all know about it. So if they're doing that, that's big, right? That guy walking around has got millions and millions of people's blood on his hands. And he's allowed to walk around because he's in coalition or coercement with those that are in power, or the dark side, if you like, the dark side, but the shadow government that exists there that made that whole war happen anyway. And it's a bit like Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi, all these people not dead. None of them are dead. Bin Laden's not dead. None of them are dead. It's all an illusion.
It's just, it really is. Everything.
But when you watch something like that, Grant, I'll let you speak a minute, sorry. When you watch something like that, it puts into context where we sit here in this complete shit shower that we have of garbage that we're being shown that is almost like Beano comic stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. It's like an old Mickey Mouse, like 1930s style cartoon.
Yeah.
Coming out, they're flicking the pages and letting us see what they want us to see.
Yeah. But it's astounding that people do not get it. It is, as Teresa just said just now, a dumbed down state of people, basically, that's happened over centuries. This goes back further than Hitler, obviously, but you know, this is massive traumatization.
You've got to understand, Clint, you know, they're food.
Yeah, of course.
They're food.
Yeah.
We live on a farm.
Yeah, we do.
We live on a farm. Just because they're not selling humans in Tesco's and Sainsbury's or wherever, doesn't mean we're not on a farm. All right? We're being harvested for energy. You know, these sickos eat people, eat children.
Psychopaths.
We all know that. Yeah, we all know that. And that's the ironic thing. We'll know it, but why they're not being dragged out into the streets?
Well, they're not, obviously, because they're all well protected, aren't they? Because everyone believes in them. Well, a lot of people believe in them. And you know, you've got somebody like Biden, who is now the whatever he is. I wouldn't call him president. I call him an OAP, basically. That's just serving a little bit of time. Coffin dodger. Yeah. But he, inside himself, he's not going to be there very long. And you know, you've not hardly seen him. either. He's not got nothing to say. He is just a puppet. That's what he is. But that was complete shambles over there, and with all of it, with election and everything else. But they've been doing this for a very, very, very long time. And you know, one of the things that sorry,
they've perfected it.
Yeah, but one of the things that amazes someone else I'm going to talk about a lot on. I know we're skirting around a little bit here, but I'm interested in your view. Another thing that fascinates me is somebody called Elon Musk.
Oh,
now, Elon Musk, I feel, comes from the future. He's a time traveler. And he's come from the future because he has a multi-billion, trillion, whatever you want to call it, empire in the future. And he's come back here to obviously bring loads of money, because he has so much money. He's got so many people working for him, and he's doing so many things which are going in detail, like the neuro whatever, the thing you can put in your brain and all sorts, and it heal you of everything, and then you become cyborgic, if you like. So, which we are certainly, in a way, we're sort of halfway there, carrying a phone. But you know, I find that, like, what happens in this world, like with Hitler, nobody's stopping this person. There is no one saying you can't do this, you can't do that. He does what he likes.
Well, they're all in the club, aren't they?
They're all in the club.
All in the club, as George Carlin said. And this great big club, and we're not in it. Yeah, we're not in it. No. And so we've got to live, you know, just according to us, our lives, how we want our lives to be. Yeah.
Do you feel that obviously, because people were in this lockdown and people are in this situation, and I just highlighted two things which a lot of people say, well, Hitler died and Elon Musk, he's all right, he's doing things. But you see, they give a terrifying message, because at the same time there's people coming from the future, coming back here, is building this stuff, building things that are outside the humanly possible of people here, and creating things that are way advanced. He's also at the same time telling everyone this is very dangerous. So he's actually telling people it's very dangerous, even though he's creating it.
Do you know what? It's so blatant now. I mean, if wherever you look, there's the news or stuff on Facebook, and they're literally telling you to your face.
They are.
You know, they're telling you to your face, and you can point out to people. You can literally say, "Well, look at this. Look at this." And they go, "Oh, they're brain fries."
Yeah.
So it's right there in front of you. You know, it's right there in front of you.
Do you feel there'd be some form of uprising here?
No.
You don't? You think that they're so dumbed down that they're not going to uprise?
So dumbed down, yeah. So dumbed down that. But look at these people. They're very weak, and I found out last week. I went round to help some people out to open their businesses up. Said I can help you open your business up, no problem. But I go around there, and they're being paid a lot of money by the government to stay home.
Yeah.
And they also have to sign a disclaimer.
Right.
You know, it's like, what? You have to sign a disclaimer to say you will not be going to work or opening up should you choose to accept this money, kind of thing. And if you
that's a bit like farmers. That's a bit like what they do with farmers. Don't grow anything on your land.
I know. Well, not far from me, there was a great big sugar beet harvest.
Yeah.
Massive. It was like mountains of it, and it was just left out to rot.
Absolutely.
Just left out to rot. I said, look at that. Look, now they're going to do a sugar beet shortage.
That is just ridiculous.
Tell the farmers, just don't sell your crops.
They paid the farmers to not cultivate it.
Well, it's their only. They just use the bribing, aren't they? The corruption just runs so deep. The government have deep pockets, bankrolled by the Rothschilds.
Yeah. And
just throw the money at people.
All this.
I'll tell you what it reminds me of. What's that? The film Borat. Remember the film Borat? Right, where he was throwing money at cockroaches because he said they were Jews. He said, just throw money at them, they'll go away. And that's what it's like. It's throwing money at people. Just throwing money at people.
Well, they are. And the Conservative government at the moment is throwing money left, right, and centre when they haven't got any, because they just print more. And we've had 10 years of austerity in a system that don't work anyway. It's broken. And I do believe what Teresa said is the fact that this politics all finished. It's all finished.
Yeah, it's going to be a different world, completely different world. But then, we've got to look at the flip side. Is they're telling us what they're doing. It's right to our faces, and they're giving us the answers. They're actually giving us the answers now. Say, look, we are a shit show. Take us over.
Yeah.
Come on, we're here. Just take us over. We don't really want to do this anymore.
No, because when you watch these people, even the minions like Boris and his cronies, Shitty, Bloody Witty, or whatever his name is, in Valance, they're very uncomfortable standing there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they've been pushed, haven't they? They've been put in the limelight, and they sold their soul to the devil.
Yeah.
That's like, right, there you go. Now you're in our pockets. We want you to do this, and this.
Yeah.
And tough if you don't like it.
Because I'm sure that when Boris came into power, he knew about this. He was told about it. You can come in power, but you have to do this because this is going to be on your agenda.
Well, his dad wrote the book called The Virus.
Yeah, absolutely. Stanley
wrote the book.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been around, and for that, what's his name? I mean, I'm not really into politics, so you have to forgive me on names and that.
No.
I think it's that Matt Hancock. I think it's his name.
Matt Cock.
Yeah, when he was talking about, he got a lot of his ideas from the film Contagion.
That's right. I was talking about that earlier.
It's like what?
Yeah, he probably watches that every day and sees what he can do next.
Yeah.
Gemma Brooks says, "I love Grant's voice. He sounds like Vinnie Jones."
Is that a compliment or not? I don't know. Is that an insult?
I actually like Vinnie Jones. I think he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he's a nice fella.
And she says, apparently Hitler only has one ball, according to the football enthusiasts. And Shaz Atchell says the only uprising will be US rising up. And
that means,
Crystal Desprez says, watch Songbird on Amazon Prime about COVID-23.
Yeah. That's it.
COVID-23.
Yeah, the film's about it. Yeah, it's all a destructive world, and
We're only in COVID zero.
Well, they're going to plan it every year, aren't they?
Well, yes. And have we got? Do you think that we will walk around with masks and social distance for weeks and months and years?
Well, you can see it. It's on the World Bank forum. It says the COVID experiment, or whatever they call it, will finish on the 31st of March, 2025.
Yeah.
They've even said it. It's there, black and white. You can read it.
Right. Where is that on again for people listening? Or
is it the World Bank?
World Bank
website.
Right. Okay.
It's got it on there. 31st of March 2025 is a suggested or expected finish of this show. And then they're bringing the next phase for Agenda 2030.
Yeah. Yeah, which is a big year, 2030. But apparently Elon Musk said that we're going to be time traveling by 2028.
I think they've been doing it already.
Of course they have. They got jump gates.
Yeah, of course they do. They really do.
When they invent something like the space shuttle, which can take off, go on a rocket and then go into space and then come back and land, and everyone think that's a great idea, but then they scrapped it very quickly because they don't need it.
Well, that's it. Exactly. Like they scrapped Concorde.
Yeah.
After the one went down in Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is nowadays. They just don't care, and they're coming out with everything now. They just do not care now.
No, they don't. But I still feel that they're clutching at straws.
Oh, they are. They really are. Yeah.
And I feel that they're very worried. They're constantly worried. I mean, how can you even think of saying to the people to stand up there and say that on the 22nd of February, this is our roadmap out of it. It was all a load of bollocks anyway, but the roadmap out of it is we're going to open pubs, but we're not allowed to sell alcohol.
Oh dear, is that the next thing, is it?
That's what they're reckoning they might do. What is it with alcohol and COVID? Is it because they don't want people to drink and actually lose inhibitions? My God, lose inhibitions and meet someone and have a shag or get together and have conversations.
Well, there's a couple of trains of thought. On this. You've got to look at what's happening. They're getting everyone to cover up in face masks, cloth masks, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And then they don't want people to have alcohol. That sounds very Islamic.
It does, doesn't it?
All right, sounds very Islamic. Or what they're doing is just repeating repeating the last century over again. So we're coming into the Prohibition era.
Yeah, we are.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
and that was where there was thousands of people on the streets with nothing to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Great Depression.
Same as what we're in now.
It's funny how that's 1929. And so I've only got about, another 25, 30 years before we get Elvis coming back out again.
Yeah, well, is he even dead? I said earlier on that I definitely don't think Jeffrey Epstein's dead. He's still alive.
No, of course not.
None of them's dead.
No, they're not. It's just, we get people believing that, that Guantanamo Bay is full of the elites and this, that, and the other. So, come on. Come on now. That's another psyop.
Yeah, of course it is.
People don't understand that they control both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. And that is a key factor. Crystal Desprez says rum is good for you.
I love rum.
I love rum as too. Crystal Desprez says, especially with bugs. Gemma says pubs opening up without alcohol to prevent spread of COVID-19 is like someone inventing a condom with air holes to help prevent pregnancy. And she says, what is supposed to be coming in 2030? She's asking.
Just watch Handmaid's Tale. Watch Handmaid's Tale. Have you seen that? It's,
a long time ago.
There's more vaccinations and stopping the birth of children. And just get women. Let's just take women and use them as baby maker machines. Yeah,
because what the road we're going down is, it looks like to me, they don't want you to actually reproduce children with love. They don't want any love anymore. They want hate, aggression, anger, nastiness, angst. And above all, they don't want people going to bed that love each other and produce children, because they will then have to send somebody from the future, like Terminator, to exterminate them.
Oh, that's it. But there's also, again, another train of thought. There's so many different trains of thought. Could it be that, the spiritual world is going, do you know what? Alcohol is so bad for you, which it is. And the word alcohol comes from alcohol, which is meaning demonic spirits. So is it in a way going, look, you don't need that. You're not going to be able to ascend or develop with alcohol. So we're stopping it.
Interesting. That's an interesting thought. Yeah. Interesting thought. I do like a beer, though.
Yeah, I do.
Because,
make the most of having one in his physical body.
Look at all the businesses right now on just a base camp area, the people that are watching or listening or will do, or in reruns of this and all sorts, they're sitting there and their business is gone, or they've got a pub and they've got a great community spirit which is broken up because nobody goes there, and they're sitting there saying, well, we're not going to be able to open.
That's it. And this is it. They'd rather sit at home moaning and whinging about it rather than taking to the streets or saying, do you know what, stuff it, we're going to open up.
Yeah, I agree.
Scared, weak men.
It wouldn't happen in France, would it?
Embarrassing his.
But in France, Germany, Italy and Spain, there's curfews. We haven't got that.
Yeah. Well, America's opening up. There's people I know in America going to the gym.
Yeah.
Doing all that. And it's like, but do you know what? Many years ago, I had a vision that the UK would be Europe's prison.
Right.
One big prison island. Yeah, I had that vision years ago. Wow. It's funny how we're like that now.
We are.
And that's why they don't want us to leave.
Because
unless it's essential business. If you're trafficking children, you can come and go to the police.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, they got rid of President in Trump that actually was doing something about it.
Yeah.
They didn't want him there because he was actually doing something good.
I can't have that. That's
and then they bring in an old age pensioner that actually quite likes young people.
Yeah, a bit too much.
Yes. Gemma says banning alcohol to save the NHS.
The NHS is sold off anyway.
It is.
It's sold off years ago.
Yeah, and the NHS every single year struggles because it's badly run It's no, there's so much money pumped into it right now, but it should have been pumped in years ago by successive governments.
Yeah, but it gets pumped in and it filters out into certain people's pockets.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I mean, we could have a lovely society if it wasn't just for a few greedy men.
I mean, God rest his soul, or bless Captain Tom, who did his walk and all sorts of that. And it's a shame he died and all sorts. But 40 odd million pounds. He hoped to raise 1,000. He raised 40 million pounds. And now the interesting thing is that the charity that was running it actually charged him, I think, out of that money 2 or 3 million or something. But where has all that money gone?
Yeah, but don't forget, it was his daughter and son-in-law that were running the charity.
The
Matrix company.
The Matrix
actually called
company.
The Matrix.
Yes.
Yeah, they earned a lot of money. And he was a Mason, I think over in Berkshire. He was a high-end Freemason. And, he died on the Sunday, but they announced his death on the Tuesday, which was the 33rd day of the year, with 333 days left.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a coincidence, really.
That is an immense coincidence. A bit like the death of Princess Diana on the 11th pillar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because numerology, numbers are very important for these dark arts people, aren't they?
Well, they are. And they just, they love making a sacrifice. They love a sacrifice.
They do.
They love sacrifice and illusion, sleight of hand. This is bigger than 9/11. This is. This
is so big that we would have to be on air talking to each other for about a year to actually talk about every single thing that is going on that we know.
That's it. And when you say to people, "Can you not see this?" And they can't. They say, "Oh, you're one of those conspiracy theorists."
Yeah, but now they're calling us. They're calling us now. They're calling us now. Some people are calling us domestic terrorists.
Oh dear. They're so fluoridated, aren't they? Third eye so fluoridated.
Yeah, domestic terrorists. So I mean, they have got, because I thought the road we go down, certainly with COVID, is that we'd have to have COVID to be able to go in it. We have to have a passport to go anywhere, basically. But now they're saying we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But when we look back in 20 years' time to this time, when in history, they're going to look back at a crowd of people that have been uncovered. And I'm talking about a very small amount of people, and some of them aren't even human. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody said to me years ago, I used to go around the country and parts of the world doing talks and that on all sorts of subjects. And somebody came up to me one day and they said, do you realize the Earth is a zoo? And I said, well, that's an interesting concept. And I went away and thought about it. And then I tuned in and I started to build a presentation of the Earth is a zoo. And in a way it is, because, we are being nested, if you like, breeded in a way, but we're a live game as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we are a simulation. This is not even real. When people realize it's not real and you jump out of it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I did a Ouija board years ago, because I do them every now and then. And I had an Andromedan come in. And I said, what do you think of the Earth? And they literally spelt out zoo. Literally spelt it out. It's like, yeah, it is a zoo.
Because they're regardless of what people think, extraterrestrials, alien civilizations are here. They've been here a very long time. There is Nephilims here. There is all sorts of races here, from Greys to Nordics, all manner of different beings.
But the whole word of extraterrestrials comes from terra, which means earth, land, extra land. So they may not be out in outer space. They may be outside Antarctica, way outside, where there's other continents that we don't know about.
Well, there is a theory of that we're not actually a sphere anyway. We're flat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when Admiral Byrd climbed the 200 or 300 foot ice wall and went over the other side, he found something phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because I'll tell you what, I watched a video the other day on YouTube, and it said that we are hologram or reflection of one of the craters on the moon.
Yeah.
Right? He actually saw it.
That's interesting.
And then he went to Walt Disney back in the 30s of Disneyland, and the map that was on Disneyland is an exact topographic detail of a crater on the moon.
Yeah. And of course, you know, Disneyland is one of the darkest places to go.
Yeah.
The amount of children that go missing in Disneyland is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. You got room 33 there, haven't you?
Yeah.
The secret room. Yeah, funny that. 33 again.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Shaz says, right from the start of this, when the headline came out, Save the NHS, I feel that all this is to crucify it completely, and the fingers pointed at all those who have not had the prick. And BJ and hand on cock. We'll stand there and say, we warned you, set up to fail. Gemma says, I think they are planning on bringing the China style credit scoring system. And she also says, explains why no one is allowed to Antarctica. Well, the thing is, Antarctica is not even on the UN flag, but every country, pretty much every country in the world, has a bite of it. And as you know yourself, on the North Pole, and also it's a 50-mile-an-hour no-fly zone on it that's set up by the American government. And also in Antarctica, some years ago now, first of all, Buzz Aldrin went there, and he was taken up, and he was taken up in something, and he see things that terrified him. And he came back and he wrote it on Twitter, and it was taken off. And he said it's the most dangerous thing he's ever seen in the world, and no one, you know, basically should get off the planet. And also, what's interesting, what people don't know, but trawling back in my history, is that it wasn't that long ago, some years ago, that you had the President of America. I even think that Tony Blair went there, and members of the royal family and all sorts, to go into the ice itself, because there is a 3-mile long mothership there that's got chronogenic sleeping, huge giants. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
When you tell people that, they think you're absolutely mad.
Oh, no, they do. Yeah, they do. They really
but it's
do.
not mad, it's real.
Yeah. Well, this guy was saying, he was looking on the moon, the crater of the moon, and he said, look, there's the Earth in the crater of the moon, and there's Antarctica, and he said, that's the way out. That is the way out of that realm. Yeah. It's where they can visit other realms.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, you know, but you try and tell this to people that, we're not allowed down there, they'd blow you out of the sea or the sky if you went down there. So what are they hiding?
Yeah.
You know, what are they hiding? Why have we got films or books like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit?
Because they're real.
Yeah.
Why have we got films and books like Star Wars? Because they're real.
Yeah, they call it Middle Earth.
Yeah.
It's telling you to your face.
But if you look at the shamanic world, there is a lower, middle, and higher world.
That's it. Yeah.
Gemma says there's a lot of hidden sexual symbols in the world of Disney films. Yes, there is. And Shaz says, just a thought, climate change, the earth warming up and the ice caps melting. They are afraid of losing the cover, maybe.
Yeah, more than likely. More than likely. It exposed quite a lot, won't it?
The one thing is, that forget about gods and anything like that. The one thing that exists on this planet, because I actually don't feel this is real Earth. That's how mad I am. I don't feel we're on the real Earth at all. No. I think we're on a surrogate planet that's been created to be the real Earth, to make believe, if you like.
Well, again, that if you look at the old 70s series Battlestar Galactica, that was off in search for another Earth.
Yeah.
You know, because Earth was being blown apart.
And I was a great believer in the Hollow Earth as well, because there were so many eminent people, and that's why I believe that the Earth. I've gone from completely changed my mind from being a sphere, because it isn't. Because when you see the space station that is phony, that's in space, you've got a nice clear planet with no debris, no garbage, no rubbish, no anything, no meteors or no nothing. It's completely
no stars,
clear, no stars, no anything. it's laughable, isn't it?
Yeah, I think really the stars might actually be holes in a container to allow us to breathe.
Yes, there is a thought, and there is other. I'm throwing all sorts of things at you, but I'm just interested. Because there's a very famous film on YouTube where they shot a rocket up, and it went up so far, I can't remember how far, maybe 17 miles or something, and then it hit a dome.
Yeah, that's it. I saw that. Yeah, that's
the firmament.
Yeah, you can actually hear it. It goes donk. Yes. And it just stops dead.
Yeah,
you can see it. That's a bit bizarre, that, isn't it?
It's absolutely mental. Because you know, within NASA, they employ thousands and thousands of CGI people, graphic designers, and all sorts.
That's it. And have you seen a film called Hidden Figures?
No, I haven't seen that.
Right, that's one to watch, and that's based in the 50s, 60s, about the black women working at NASA were actually the computers that would work out all the calculations for re-entry, exiting the Earth, etc., etc.
Yeah.
It's really, really, really interesting film, how badly they were treated, but their brains worked better than an actual computer.
Wow.
And it's a true story. That's the good thing about it. It's a
Hidden
true story.
Figures, it's called.
Hidden Figures, yes, really good.
I'm going to write that down, because I haven't seen that film. Can you see that on YouTube or something?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think Kevin Costner's in it as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wrote that down. Interesting.
Yeah.
Crystal Spree says, read the book The Real Middle Earth. Have you read that? Have you seen that? I haven't heard of that book.
Yeah, I've got a Middle Earth book from the 1970s. I bought it thinking it was just going to be a story, but it wasn't. It was all about expeditions to the Hollow Earth.
Right.
Yeah, and had maps in it, everything.
Really? Wow. What's that book called?
Oh, I don't know. You can get it on eBay, but I think it was written in 1972.
Wow.
It's called The Hollow Earth.
I think I might know the book you're talking about. Was it by somebody called Gardner?
Oh, might be. It's got green writing on a kind of an off-whitish cover.
Crystal Desprez says sea level, not sea curve. and Shaz says, this is so refreshing to listen to. I'm not the only one thinking these things. Pew.
Yeah, we'll all end up in the same nut house.
Well, there is, obviously there are people out there within the fractions of darkness that envelops this planet that would not want anyone like me coming on here, having people like you on. Do you know what I mean?
No,
but
absolutely not.
To a degree, they've lost control of all that, I feel.
Yeah. I mean, they'd love to shut the internet down, but they need it.
They do.
They need it.
But isn't it genocide that they're performing here? Not just with people, but genocide in relation to because the financial, forget about the system we're in, because that's all broken, but people's livelihoods, how they're going to live, what they're going to do, their mental health.
They don't care.
No, they
really don't care. They really don't care. This is, I said to someone the other day, right? I said, the government, the churches, the pharmaceutical companies, the Queen does not care about you one bit.
No,
they
she
laughed.
doesn't.
They laughed and they went, "Oh, what, the Queen doesn't care about us?" I said, what? You believe she cares about you?
That's mad.
No, she doesn't give a toss.
No,
doesn't give a toss.
They're Germanic. They're Germanic, and I read a book. I've got it here somewhere, which is a book all about, exposes all of the ancient tribes and the places within the Amazon, and one of the I can't remember his name, but the very famous explorer Fawcett, who went out there, and met a lot of these different tribes. And he also went into a cave, and he went down a long way down into the earth and came out where there were golden doors that he managed to open, and inside was a whole world of Germanic race people, millions of them.
Yeah.
Crystal Desprez says the real Middle Earth is factual. It gives places, dates, and times. It explains how to go to the Middle Earth, and why Runnymede is important, and runes. Interesting. And she says it's well researched. I will certainly look that up. I'm interested in seeing that book. And also how and when that knowledge was hidden. But you have to look at all the ancient civilizations. This has been going on for centuries, because you look at the Incas that took a lot of their secrets back into the womb, back into the earth itself. Look at all these great races. The Egyptians not here anymore. The Mayans not here anymore. The Maori not here anymore, hardly here.
Yeah, that's it.
All these people.
Aztecs, Toltecs.
Yeah.
You know.
And the Dogon tribe.
Yeah, that's right. Star people.
Yeah. And the people that lived on Easter Island.
Exactly. It's just, is it a computer program? And they've said, right, your time is up now. We've now got to let the new lot in.
You've been erased.
Yeah, you've got to move on.
It is. When you start looking at this, it becomes a very, very, very dark, scary picture, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally. Have you ever seen the film Michael Douglas called The Game?
I have seen that, yeah.
Yeah, and what goes on through that, and he's like, oh my God, thinks his life's in danger, he's being chased, followed, this and the other, only to find out there's a massive birthday present from his brother. And he sees all these actors in the canteen at the end, and he can't handle it. Yeah. His brain can't handle it. It's like, are you kidding me? You tried to kill me. How is this a game? I says, yeah, it's all acting. It's all acting, a whole lot of it.
It is. And to a degree, that's what we've got in our world here, which is just acting. Mm-hmm. Crisis actors for a start in disasters. I'm not taking anything away from any. It's just my point of view. So I mean, people have different point of view, but the Manchester bombing never happened.
That's right.
I see a film that was taken off the internet very quickly, where you had policemen, about 20 of them, turn up in a wagon and get out of the wagon in civvies and stand outside behind their van and get dressed.
Change. Yeah, I saw it.
What is that all about?
And then that one up in Manchester, literally, I think about a week or two before, they were had in a shopping centre for crisis actors. Just if there's a terrorist attack, and all doing it, riding on the floor. Yeah. And it's just. Do you know what though, Clint? It's got to that stage now where there's no point even trying to explain it to people.
No.
There's no point.
They won't accept it.
No, they've gone. The brain has gone. I mean, I walk into shops, no masks on, and people look horrified. Their eyes, and especially the men.
Oh, I know.
And I think, do not look at me. You've got no bollocks.
Yeah.
You're not a man. Don't look at me.
And the fact is that you walk down the road, and people are walking on the same path. They cross the road.
I know. I had that the other day. I looked at the fella. He was crossing the road as a diagonal, and I went to do that too, just crossing the road. And as soon as he saw me doing it, he then actually turned back to the same side of the road.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and went, what are you doing? What are you doing, you idiot? And I went, oh, sorry.
Shez said maybe they have all come back now for this time. And Gemma says, I'm surprised the crisis actors never speak out.
Well, they might be the whistleblowers, mightn't they?
Well, they could be, yes. I mean, I know, like you've met a lot of people in your time, like myself. And even though we're on here and it's freedom of speech, but there are some things I don't talk about, which you would know as well. But, there isn't many. But I do know of a person that was technically what you call a super soldier that desperately wanted to find his identity, came to me for help, and opened up a shamanic doorway for himself, but he was living with a very beautiful girl that was basically a sex doll, a living sex doll for him, that did everything he wanted to do. And he was visited constantly by UFOs that would come to him, and he would get on ships. And he's been through jump gates and all sorts of that as well. And also what's interesting is the fact that he's been there when there's been a job that he's been involved in, and then this whack and her turn up, which are a clear up mob that clear up the and you know what you see in Men in Black when you have this poof, they have got things like that.
Oh yes. Yeah, it's just you look at that and people think, oh, what a great film. That's a really good film. I enjoyed that. And then that's it. They go back into their daydream. Oh, it's not real. Don't be silly. It's not real. Oh, God. What do you think they're showing you it?
Oh, dear. Yeah, because, you know, I say to people, you're absolutely right, because the only way they're going to hide it is put it in front of your face.
That's it, yeah.
Because it's so improbable it won't happen. But, you know as well as I do, that, and it's well known within the fraternity of everyone that's out there is research and all sorts, that extraterrestrials have been here. Well, extraterrestrial, alien race have been here for a very long time. And you know, there has been hundreds of thousands of people killed. And there was certainly a large amount killed in 1968 when they tried to break out from the I can't remember the Dulce base in New Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
And 68 SEALs died that day.
Yeah.
But they won't have any, you know, people that are connected to them, mothers, fathers, daughters, whatever. They won't go to any funeral because they won't exist.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, all their names go.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's if you remember the film War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And when they took filming it at the beginning, and like these lightning strikes going to the ground, and when they slowed it down, they said, "Look, they're breaking out of the ground, breaking out of the roads. They've been here for a very long time.
Yeah,
they've been waiting and waiting.
It's almost like ectoplasm.
Yeah,
yeah, I know. We could talk for hours, you know, Grant.
Yep.
About all sorts of different things, but
that's it.
You know, one of the most important things is getting someone like you on to push the boundaries, like myself, to say, you know, wake up, because smell the coffee, because this is not as it is. I know it's not as it is. We are in a massive simulation, and in a way, with Matey Boy coming from the Elon Musk coming from the future, is actually really just here to screw up people even more.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, do you know what, though? When you look in the future, like films like Terminator or whatever, you know, it's only a hardened few that make it.
Yeah.
The toughened few, the ones that see through it and have the balls to carry on going through it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not many. You always see it in the future. There's not many rebels.
No.
You know, so is that the way it's going?
Well, it's interesting. They're making a new Matrix film at the moment as well.
Yeah, I wonder what subliminals will be in that.
Yeah, but it's in everything. Subliminals are in everything. Messages and signs and symbols are in everything. In road signs, in everywhere you look, in what you pick up, in boxes of tea, coffee, God knows what. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, everything. Absolutely everything.
Crystal Desri says, "Know thyself, the Matrix." And
that's it. Yep.
Shaz says, "Communal composting burial plots are already coming in. I think in Switzerland or somewhere like that. I really get the shudders with Elon Musk."
Yeah. Yeah, he's a bit slimy, he is.
Yes, he is. But you know, I actually feel that he's not human either.
Yeah, he doesn't look it, does he?
No. And it's interesting that, do you know the name of his son or daughter?
No.
It's not a name. It's like I haven't got it on here, unfortunately, but it's almost from the future. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
It's almost like an A and an E and an AE and a number and then something else.
Yeah. Very strange. Very strange. You're trying to tell us something.
Yeah, but there is a defined message in that person. What I find fascinating is because he's actually telling you what actually is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So it's all around us. It's all there, and it's like we're now living in. Well, the worlds are separating. They're definitely separating.
That's exactly what Teresa was just saying. We live in two realities.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely, we do. Yeah, and you're getting a subspecies now.
Yeah.
So it's you see the films called like The Time Machine. You've got the original 1961 and the later one with Guy Pearce, and you've got the Morlocks that live in the dark, in the caves.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's being created.
Yeah.
These people that stay indoors all the time, don't go out and get the vitamin D.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not allowed to drink alcohol, not allowed to do anything, not allowed to go anywhere. Completely hemmed in.
Can't go to the barbers, end up looking like Captain Caveman.
Shaz Actual says plastic face and don't feel any connection. And she says the name is probably a barcode. Probably is.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, model number.
I tell you what, joking aside, there's a lot of truth in it. I'll tell you.
Yeah, there is.
We've all got barcodes put on us. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Every single person.
I think we need a sense of humour to get through this this show that's happening.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, that's what people are taking their own lives because they're taking it far too seriously, which, you know, should take it seriously.
You can't. The one thing you got to do is you got to bring fun into it. You have to bring fun into it. You have to be positive. I'm a great believer in that this road we're on, even though it's so dark and we're in a big tunnel, we're going to come out the other side.
Yeah.
Gemma says, like the Puritans of Black Hour that has arrived. Shaz says 5D, 5G, ego and eco, etc.
Yeah.
Gemma says, at least we have an enormous turn up to look forward to.
Oh dear. The Easter eggs in the shops yet. You know, we need another diversion.
Well, yeah.
Another distraction.
Absolutely, another distraction. We create something to cause another distraction. Of course, giant rabbits is what they actually unbelievable. But the Skull and Bones in their strange little ranch in the middle of nowhere, they have giant bunnies and all sorts there. They're a very strange crowd.
That's it. Yes. You know, I think you've just got to point our fingers at them and laugh at them.
I know.
Oh, you're just ridiculous. You are ridiculous.
You know, you are a complete and utter peasant in our reality. You know, you really are.
Yeah, well, we've got to flip it, haven't we? Just say, you know what, you don't belong. You don't belong with us.
No.
That's it. You know, we're going to create a new society. You know, we're at the beginning stages. We might not see it in our lifetimes, but we've got to start laying the foundations.
We're here helping it make it happen. You're on here talking about it. I'm on here doing this. I'm bringing people together. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it's about. And one thing that's important, our voices, our chats, and everything we do on here is an historical document.
Absolutely.
Which means that our conversations in years to come, when they look back, do you remember those days, back in those days when they did things like this?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
They might send this signal out into space and it'll be the first words of the aliens here.
Shaz says laughter is the best medicine, and she says you're only allowed a cream egg if you have had the vaccine.
Oh, I do love cream eggs.
I'll tell you what, you've been brilliant, Grant. I'd love to talk to you for hours, but obviously we can't. Thank you very much for coming on.
No worries.
And
no worries, anytime.
If anyone wants to link up with Grant, you can get Grant Hicks on Facebook. You've got your own group as well, haven't you?
Yeah, got my own groups. I'm doing a meditation tonight, doing a live Into the Wormhole meditation, guided hypnosis meditation. So that's going to be a bit at 10 o'clock that starts.
Wow, that's a biggie.
I'll put a link on for people if they fancy it.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, by all means. And we will catch up again.
Yeah.
And I always love having you on because you're real. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to keep it real all the time.
Absolutely. And we will speak soon, Grant.
Yeah,
and
will do, pal.
You know, up the evolution.
Yes. Viva.
Right up them.
Yeah. All right, Clint.
All right. Thanks a lot, Grant. All right.
Bye. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
There he is, Grant Hicks. Absolutely fantastic. Love having Grant on. What is just amazing. Shaz said, lovely listen to everyone. We'll take a look at your links, Grant. Fantastic. Yeah, have a look and see. He's put his link on and everything. He's got a big meditation going on tonight at 10 o'clock down into the wormhole meditation. I think that'd be really, really interesting. Obviously we got one more guest. We've run well over time, but what's it matter? It doesn't matter, does it? A surprise guest. I have no idea who this is that we've got coming up next. And he will be phoning me up very soon. I've heard through my there he is. What about that? On cue. Let's get him there. That's it. Hello, surprise guest. You've called Clint Denyer on the Inview. Hello. How are you, old boy?
Well, it's absolutely fine. This is Jack Munster, Monster Hunter.
Oh, Jack Munster. We haven't heard from you for ages. I thought you might have been Elon Musk wanting to ring in.
No. I have nothing to do with him.
No. So,
he's a strange fellow.
He is a strange fellow, yes. The last time that we spoke, you were in Loch Ness, wasn't you, Mr. Monster Hunter?
Yes. And I've now recently returned from an adventure down in Cornwall on the trail, I should say, of the elusive boggit.
The boggit? What does, for people that are watching and listening, what does a boggit look like?
Well, it's half badger and half fox.
Wow. Is that like a missing link type animal?
Well, you could say that. They've been around for millions of years.
Wow. And is there many boggits?
Oh, there are several. There's a whole, how would you put it? Well, tribe, I suppose.
Tribe of boggits?
Still left. Boggits, yeah. They live on Bodmin.
Oh, right, on Bodmin Moor. Do they live in the ground, you said?
But mainly, yes.
Do they speak?
Yes, sort of. Under certain conditions, one can understand what they are saying.
Really? Can they speak sort of Gaelic English or something?
They speak boggit, whatever that is. I don't know, but I could understand what they were saying after one or two bottles of a certain Cornish brew.
So, how on earth did you manage to track down a boggit if they're so elusive? Was it roaming around Bodmin Moor? But you could have come across the beast of Bodmin, couldn't you? At the same time.
Well, I think they're probably one and the same.
Ah, the boggits are the beast.
Yes. Well,
wow.
Soon after I got there, I got my gear on my back, all that, and I started walking across the moor, and I came across sort of a wooded area, like a small forest, if you like.
Yeah.
And
was it dark
walking around in there, and then I came across a small clearing, and I could see something just on the edge of this clearing, and I had a look through my binoculars, and there was a strange-looking creature. It indeed looked like a boggit, and he was sitting on a fallen tree, drinking a bottle of Rattler and eating a pasty.
Eating a pasty. Do they have a bit of a Gaelic Cornish accent as well, do they?
Well, I'm going to come to that in a minute.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I crept round a few trees, and then I got a little bit closer to him, and his ears pricked up, and as it turned around, I said, "Hello," and it looked at me, and all of a sudden it said, "Join me, won't you?"
Really?
Yes. But he said it in a Cornish accent, like, you know.
You want to join me, do you? Something like that.
What? Like an Australian?
Gemma Brooks said, was it Clint? And she also says, was it a Ginster's pasty?
No, that's one word you do not say down in Cornwall.
Oh, right, okay. Or did he go to
You do not say that. You do not say that word Ginsters. Okay. Because they're not pasties.
Does that mean that if you say Ginsters in Cornwall, you'll have bakers come out of their shops and beat you with their French sticks?
Ginsters is probably the worst swear word
really
you could say in Cornwall.
What, even worse than fuck?
Absolutely.
My God, that's serious, isn't it? So
it is. So you mention Ginsters to any Cornishman and they'll string you up.
Really? So what about if you had Tourette's down in Cornwall and all you could say was Ginster?
Well, you say it several times, wouldn't you? Anyway,
Gemma says the seagulls who steal your food don't care who made it, so it doesn't matter if it's Ginsters. So the seagulls aren't choosing.
No, the original ones, you see, were made by the Boggets. They invented the pasty.
Did they?
Yes. Anyway, I sat down with him. I presume it was a him anyway, and he started.
Didn't you check? Was he naked?
Well, have you ever seen a half fox, half badger with clothes on?
Well, only like Rupert the Bear or something.
Yeah, but I think you've been watching too many cartoons, old boy. Anyway, I sat down and was having one or two rattlers with him and eating a pasty. And all of a sudden, I could understand what he was saying. It must be something in the rattler. I don't know, something in the rattler apples. Right. But I could understand what he was saying, and he was explaining, what they are, where they were, what they're doing, and how long they've been around there. And I was thinking to myself, whoa, hang on a minute, how come you were explaining all this to me? Anyway, he could sort of read my thoughts because he just came back with the answer, well, you seem a decent sort of fellow, and I know you can be trusted.
Well, that's nice, isn't it? Because I would think they run away from people normally.
They do normally, yes. And all of a sudden...
He wasn't worried about your big net you were carrying or anything like that.
All of us... Sorry?
He wasn't worried about your big net you were carrying or whatever to catch him.
I wasn't carrying a big net, don't be silly. There are no butterflies out at night. Anyway, all of a sudden, I was surrounded by at least 20 of them.
Really?
One of them really stood out because he was dressed in khaki and had what looked like small guns. And the one I was sitting with said to me, "Just be careful what you say." I said, "Why is that then?" He said, "Because that's the Bogginator."
The Bogginator.
The Bogginator, yes.
I'll be back. The Bogginator. That's very interesting because Shaz says bad gocks. I don't know what that means. Gemma says what a thick bogget. And Gemma says an impatient bogget is called a fuck it.
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah, they told me that they were the original tin mine diggers, because they used to go and dig down, burrow down in the ground and all that sort of thing for local tin miners.
And obviously that's before humans did it.
Back in the 18th century, yes. Right. Before the corporates took over and nearly made them extinct. But they've also got one very, well, say strange, it is. It's almost unbelievable. They're actually shapeshifters as well. That's probably why we don't see them that often.
What can they shapeshift into? Try saying that after a few rattlers. Shapeshift into.
Yes, I'll join you with that. When are we going? Anyway, yes. For fun, because they quite, what they do. they don't do an awful lot these days. They just drink rattlers. Some of them are quite fat and eat pasties. But when they do shapeshift, they normally shapeshift into seagulls because they like to nick chips and shite on the holiday makers, you know.
So Gemma says a scared boggart is a bog off, and obviously if they shapeshift from boggarts into seagulls, what are the seagulls called? They just called seagulls, or they called sea bogs?
No, you can't tell the difference, you see.
All right, so they look just like a boggart. Sorry, just look like a seagull.
Yes. You know, so you never know. It could be a seagull, which is, you know, trotting along in front of you with something about to nick your chips, or it could be a boggart.
Gemma says a bog off is a pregnant boggart, a buy one get one free, and Chaz says a whipped boggart is called a flogget.
No, a bog off is a bog off is its Russian cousin.
A bog off. And I bet. I mean, I don't know if you've heard of Yuri Arkansky, but he would know all about the bog offs out there, wouldn't he?
He may well do. I've never heard of that fellow before, but
yes. So when they change
Russian,
into...
no, we're not on about Russia. That's just his Russian. That's the Russian cousins they have. You know, they're a little bit different.
Are they like hobbits? Are they little people?
The Russian ones or the Cornish ones?
Well, either of them, really.
Well, the Russian ones, when they sit down, they normally drink vodka and eat stroganoff.
Really?
Well, no, I don't know. I'm just surmising. You know, I don't really know what the Russian ones do. You know, I only know what the Cornish ones do.
Aren't you interested in going and find some bog offs?
No, I don't think so. You can just imagine me, can't you? You know, here I am, explorer extraordinaire, and I've got my hat on and all that, and I walk into a pub or whatever they got, and they'll say, anybody heard of bog offs? No, I don't think that works somehow.
Yeah.
I'll probably get arrested by the KGB and put in a prison for the rest of my life.
Well, you probably would, but you could be in there with some bog offs, couldn't you?
Yeah, well, there's certainly be some pop-offs, I know that.
Well, yeah. Gemma says, fucking Sie offen is its German relative.
It could be.
Oh, dear. Oh, I've got tears rolling down my face. And the Scottish relatives are haggis.
They're boggart jimmies.
They're boggart jimmies.
Yeah.
So did they take you into their cave? Or where they live in the earth?
They must have done, because after a while, I just fainted. I just flipped out, you know, after a proper pasty. That's a meal and a half, I tell you.
Wow.
Proper Cornish pasty, not really advertising, but proper Cornish pasty, and not that swear word, Insta. And a few Cornish rattlers advertising again.
Yeah.
Yes. I woke up just a few feet from where I was.
Oh, right.
But, yeah, so I don't know how I actually got there because I just collapsed. And I was literally about 10 or 20 feet away from where I was. So I can only presume I got taken down there or something like that. And I don't know what happened. So, I just woke up where I was. And
do you think they drugged?
That's it.
Do you think they drugged your pasty or your rattlers?
Well, there must have been something in that rattler or something I drank because I could understand what they were saying.
Well, that's true because I suppose before that it was all jumbled up, wasn't it?
It was, yes, it was. So it's like a sort of in between a fox and a badger noise.
A sort of shrieking noise.
Yes, it was.
Well, if you could get some of that, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? And you could probably try that on a few humans. You probably understand them better than what you do right now.
Well, yeah, I could do. I am partial to the occasional rattler, as you know.
Yeah.
So,
Gemma says,
yeah,
fuck it, Offie. Fuck it, Offie are the French ones, and they are garlic munchers. And she says, drugged my pasty sounds like a euphemism.
No, you can't kill a pasty. That's not on. There's no way. There's the Pasty Liberation Front, you know.
Is there a Pasty Liberation Front? Are the Boggets part of that?
The Boggets are part of it, yes, because they made the original pasties, yes.
And have they still got the original pasties?
Well, it's like in a frame or something. No. Pasty Museum, yeah. They're the very first pasty. Yeah, there's the other one. And right up the other end of the hall, sitting on its own, is the Ginster.
He's a Ginster. He's a geezer Ginster.
Yeah, well, it's a rotten pasty with not a lot in it.
Wow. That you don't like Ginsters, do you?
No. If there's anything they've taught me, the Boggets, is Ginsters is a no-no. No Cornishman likes Ginsters.
No, it's interesting because, I mean, you know, they created the first pasties, and are they still mass producing these so it goes out to shops? So it's actually been through Boggett's hands.
No. They don't mass produce them, you know, like a factory or anything like that. They're all handmade, and they're sent off to probably, I think, about a dozen shops in the whole of Cornwall, proper pasty shops. Wow.
Interesting what we were talking about earlier on, because obviously you wouldn't know this, but you're back now. But obviously, yeah, I didn't know you realised that actually, when you tried to go to a drinking establishment in April, when they could potentially open a pub or inn, surprise, they're not actually going to be selling alcohol for a month.
Why is that then?
Well, because they're saying that it's to prevent the spread of COVID.
Prevent the spread of COVID by not drinking
alcohol. And Cindy
you say that to a Cornish fisherman and they string you up on his sail.
Yeah, especially if you said, do you know where I can get a Ginster? And you know, there's no drinking pubs.
Well, the only thing to do then is take a few drinks out into the woods, light a bit of a fire, have a bit of a fire pit.
Yeah.
As in Cornwall, out in a clearing somewhere. You might get one or two pockets to come and join you, providing you've got plenty of traditional pasties. Yeah. And you can party on.
Cindy's messaged in and says, I sense strongly the reason they don't want pubs open is because alcohol actually protects and stops from COVID testing positive by killing the bacteria like all hand sanitizers.
Well, it also might have something to do with the fact that the people, as you go to the pubs, you have quite a bit to drink and you can't be fucked to go there and get tested in the morning.
Yeah. Well, that's... And Gemma says, why did the pasty cross the road? Because it is meat and potato.
It was meat and potato, yeah.
Matthew John says, April 2025 is when the pubs will open. That's if we're still here. I don't know why I'm laughing. And Gemma Brooks says, there's always a Scotch egg. Now, I should think Boggets don't like Scotch eggs, do they?
Well, the Scottish Boggets might do, but the Cornish ones don't have anything to do with them.
Who's an enemy to the Boggets? Who is there? Who really, you know, they don't like each other?
Well, they don't normally like humans.
Oh, right. Well, you were lucky then.
Yes, because they could see that I wasn't a normal human.
Well, I can understand that as well.
Yeah, I mean, define normal.
Well,
but
yeah.
no, I'm different to the rest, you see.
Yes. And
so,
obviously, you unfortunately, I mean, they're probably camera shy, so you couldn't take pictures of them or anything, could you?
Oh, no, you don't take pictures of them. Nothing shows up anyway.
Matthew John says, I'm late tonight. Hello, Matthew. Great for you to join us. He says, what's a boggit? He doesn't understand what a boggit is.
Well, a boggit is half badger and half fox.
Right.
It has a badger's head and half torso sort of thing, and the rest of it, legs, and that are fox.
And it was the originator of the Cornish pasty.
Yes, it invented Cornish pasties, yes.
Gemma says, do you wear a boggit suit to trick them?
No, I'm a bit too big to get away with that. I think if I did that, it'd put boggit shit and wee on me or something like that. No, it doesn't work like that.
Do they have? I mean, obviously, when they shapeshift into a seagull, did you see them do that? Were you there when you see them actually change from a boggit into a seagull?
No, not into a seagull.
What did you see them change into then?
I saw one change into a bat.
A bat?
Yes.
Wow. So that must have been quite amazing. Was it like lots of fireworks and all sorts going on as they transferred themselves?
No, it was just instant.
Really?
Right in front of your eyes. It was just instant, and it just flew over my head. Then up into the tree.
Wow.
And another one changed into an owl.
Right.
And then again flew up into the tree. And I asked, I said, what's going on there? They said, well, they're the lookouts.
Ah, I see. Yes. And obviously they give alerts if there's any humans about. And you're very lucky to be able to see them, aren't you?
I was very lucky. It's been very strange in the last couple of months.
I bet it has.
Since I've been, I've still yet to tell you about my Australian expedition.
Oh yeah.
So that will be coming. That will be coming soon enough.
When they change into a bat, are they bat-its? Are they bat-its?
Are they bat what?
Are they bat-its?
Bat-its?
Yeah.
The boggits that turned into a bat. I suppose
it didn't end up in Wuhan, did it?
No, nothing like that.
And I bet boggits don't even know about COVID, do they?
No, they don't need to know about COVID, do they? I mean, they're animals, so they don't catch it.
Ah, yes, of course, absolutely. Well, we're animals, apparently.
Well, we're mammals, aren't we?
Well, yeah.
And everything comes under the animal umbrella, doesn't it?
Matthew John says, isn't this the same boggit that in Harry Potter shapeshifts into your worst fear?
I really wouldn't know. I haven't seen any Harry Potter or read any of the books.
All right. Okay. Well,
no, I deal in facts. I deal in proper stories.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't dispute that you've met your boggits and it's well, obviously I know you were new to this adventures of what you're doing because you've only been doing it a few weeks, a month or something now, isn't it?
So a couple of months, yes.
Yeah. What did you do before you became an intrepid adventurer looking for strange creatures?
I was just a normal, regular kind of guy, and who won the lottery and then decided, well, what can I do? I know, I just go around the world looking for mythical creatures, things like that,
Yes. Well, there's quite a few in number 10 in Downing Street, actually. They're mythical creatures.
No, they're just creatures.
Yeah, that's true. They're nasty creatures.
There's no myth or legend about them. They're just idiots.
Yeah. Gemma says, I've seen an equine version called Harry Trotter. And Matthew John says, interestingly, he says, do boggits get on with goats? And it's interesting that there was in Great Ormond in Llandudno in Clwyd, the goats all took over the town there.
Oh, we knew that was coming, didn't we?
Well, yeah.
Crikey, that was obvious that was coming.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it's a goat over, isn't it? A goat takeover.
Well, it is, yeah. That all sounds rather grotesque, doesn't it?
It does sound grotesque. Yeah. Gemma says, I can't believe the Monster Hunter didn't slither into the Chamber of Secrets. Oh,
I wouldn't laugh if I knew what you were talking about. I'll take it.
I know.
I'll take it. That's a Harry Potter thing.
It is a Harry Potter thing, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, no, but boggits,
but you always carry your wand with you, don't you, when you go on your expeditions?
I beg your pardon?
And Matthew John says, do the goat mafia put up with the boggits?
Do the goat mafia put up with the boggits? They don't put up with them, they're partners.
Are they? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, I mean, you don't see many goats down in Cornwall, do you?
No, you don't actually. You don't see many. Well, you do sometimes. They cling onto the rocks until they fall off.
Yeah, but that's just the stupid ones.
Gemma says, put your wand away. I didn't even know you had your wand out.
No, you were talking about going somewhere, taking my wand with me. Of course I take my wand with me. Keep it under wraps. Oh.
Is it magic?
Well, it is sometimes. I mean, it's just different sizes as well, you know, under different situations.
What did the boggits think of your wand?
I don't know. I didn't. I only got it out when I went behind a tree.
Well, I mean, you know, they might have thought it was quite excessive.
They might well have done, I don't know.
Oh dear.
But how did we get onto this anyway?
Didn't they wonder what you were doing? Didn't a boggit was interested in what you're doing when you went behind the tree? Maybe he was thinking you were shift shaping yourself.
What, you think the boggit thought I was turning into a tree?
Well, or a boggit.
No, I wouldn't want to turn into a boggit.
No, I wouldn't be able to understand what you're saying unless
I wouldn't want to turn into a boggit and drink Cornish rattler most of the time and eat pasties. No, why would I want to do that?
Well, that's true. And obviously hobbits must be a hobbit's a distant cousin to boggits.
Hobbits?
Yeah.
No, there's no hobbits down here.
Oh, right. I thought they might know them, you know, because they sound similar, don't they?
Well, they sound similar, but I think hobbits are the other side of the world, aren't they? Aren't they in New Zealand? Well,
they are, or they're in the ground somewhere, so probably digging.
Well, I've certainly never come across them anyway, or even heard hobbits around Cornwall.
Gemma says, what's the most unrealistic thing about the Harry Potter books? A ginger with two friends. I'll tell you what, I don't know. It's been fascinating talking to you, Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter?
Well, Monster Hunter, sorry.
That's better. I mean, you obviously haven't been on the Rattler, otherwise you'd be speaking a lot plainer than you are now.
Well, absolutely. I've only had a cup of tea tonight. And some water.
Yeah, what?
I think it's shocked the system.
You haven't been to the pub though, have you?
Well, no, because you're not allowed in.
That's not quite what I said. You haven't been to the pub, have you?
No.
No.
That's probably what's wrong.
Well, is. Yes, it probably is. Well, maybe you should go. Go. I believe that there's an underground or something like that. My Boggett friends told me, because they're affiliated with the Goats of Moorland, there are one or two drinking establishments underground.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
So they must know Dr. Horace McNorris, or even Captain Kit Kat.
He's captain now, is he? I thought he was lieutenant.
Oh, I've just, well, I think he. I
had heard of him. Yes.
I think he's had an uprise. I think he's risen.
Pardon?
I think he's got a big one.
Has he?
A big promotion. That's what I was talking about.
Oh, a big promotion.
Yes, that's
well. It's not a big promotion, is it? It's lieutenant to captain. It's just the next one up, isn't it?
Yeah. Gemma says my mate's recently lost his job as a wizard. He's going through a bad spell at the moment.
What does he do?
And she says, I fancy a Kit Kat. I don't know if she means I fancy Captain Kit Kat.
Well, she's never met Captain Kit Kat, so she wouldn't know.
Kit Kat Chunky, she says. I wouldn't know. I've never
chunky,
seen.
Yeah. Well, from what I gather, he's a bit on the chunky side.
Yeah. But, I mean, I suppose that's cuddly, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I suppose so. I mean, I wouldn't cuddle him.
No. Well, obviously, but maybe a Boggett would.
Well, yeah, a female Boggett would. It'd probably shapeshift into something else and cuddle him. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know whether they can shapeshift into humans, you see. They haven't divulged that information to me.
I think that's probably in their secret annals of time, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it could be in their Boggett shapeshifting manual.
Yeah. Gemma says, are his kids called kittens?
Are his kids called kittens?
Are his kids called kittens? Yeah.
No, I don't think so, somehow. No.
What is your next adventure, Mr. Monster Hunter?
My next adventure, I'm going to the Antarctic.
Wow, that's a very interesting one, because we'd like to get you live there, because obviously there's some very mysterious things going on in Antarctica.
Yes, I gather.
And
I understand there's been some what you call abominable snowmen found over there as well.
There is apparently some abominable snowmen there, yeah. Like the Yeti.
Yes, yeah, like the Yeti.
Which you met Bigfoot, which is obviously a relation to the Yeti.
Yeah, I mean,
can you imagine that when that lot get together? You got Yetis, abominable snowmen, and Bigfoots all gathering. They all get together for a wedding. It'd have to be a big house, wouldn't it?
Well, it'd have to be a very big house. It'd have to be done underground, wouldn't it? Really, so it wouldn't draw attention to anything.
Well, absolutely, it would have to be underground. Gemma says he can pick up a penguin when you're there.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, like that old joke, isn't it?
Oh dear. Yes.
About penguins and polar bears.
Yes, I can't remember it, but I'm sure there is.
No, there is a reason why you don't see penguins and polar bears.
Why is that?
Yeah. Well, one, can't remember which way round it is, but one lot live in the South Pole and the other lot live in the North Pole. That's why.
Right. I see. Well, that's really interesting. But I suppose you could sometimes, if they swim far enough, the polar bears, they could go from the North Pole to the South Pole, or vice versa.
It's rather a long way to swim, isn't it, through Arctic conditions and around the world, and that's just to eat a penguin.
And obviously they could always,
if they can get the off of it, of course.
They could get on the Polar Express.
Well, yeah, the Polar Express, yeah, or Polar Atlantic airplane, you know.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's one of Richard Branson's, isn't it?
It may well be, yeah. Take the Polar Express to the Polar Atlantic.
I know, and pick up a penguin.
Yeah, and pick up a penguin, or two, or three, even a packet of penguins, and take them back and feed their young with.
Yeah.
That could be a good idea.
So you didn't bring a boggit home with you?
No, I couldn't get one in the suitcase.
Oh, well, they're quite big, I suppose. Yeah, but
a bit bigger than
So,
and I didn't have a big suitcase.
And you didn't get any boggit females that took a shine to you?
Oh, that would be telling, wouldn't it? No, I'd have to say a no to that. Boggit females are a little bit different than the males, not just the obvious things.
Yeah, absolutely. Matthew John says by 2025, there's going to be a lot of free space in England. You're probably going to see more boggits than humans.
It probably will do, because according to Matthew, and all the pubs will be closed and they'll be shut down in 2025.
They won't exist, will they?
No, unless they get turned into boggit pasty houses.
Yeah, I mean, Gemma says baby boggits everywhere. Baby boom in boggits.
Yeah, they could well be. Yeah, you just have to watch out, though, because they're hairy little creatures they are. They look like tribbles, you know, on Star Trek.
All right.
When they're young. Yeah.
I thought they might look a bit like gremlins.
No, nothing like gremlins. They don't grow bigger when they get into water or anything like that.
No, well, humans grow bigger when they get in water sometimes.
No, normally they get smaller when they go into water if it's cold.
Gemma reckons Boris is a boggit.
Boris the Boggit. Yeah, that's kind of a ring to it, isn't it?
Yeah, that is Boris the Boggit. Matthew John says underground boggit clubs, members only.
Well, there is, yeah.
Wow.
Of course there is.
So do they have boggit DJs?
What, boggit dick jerkers?
Yeah, well, I don't know if they do that as well, but, you know, that must be an X-rated club if they're doing dick jerking. Or is that a dish, a specialised dish of the boggits, dick jerking?
No, that's a fruit.
Oh, is it? What, a fruit of the boggits is a dick jerker?
It's dick jerking.
A dick jerk? What sort of fruit? Is that like a banana, is it?
No, it's a bit like a gherkin, but shaped like a dick.
All right. Okay. That's unusual, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it does, you know, when they put this special manure in it to make it grow down here, it does taste a little bit like apple. You can actually make cider out of it.
Can you? Matthew John says boggit fluffers.
Boggit fluffers?
Yeah. Are they like cross-gender boggits? So
no, you don't have any cross-gender or anything. There's none of that
right.
down here. No, we don't get any, what do you call it, half male, half female, or ones that want to be male or ones that want to be female, and none of that down.
They're just ordinary boggits.
Yes.
And how many? There's hundreds of them, is there?
There are hundreds, yes.
Are they like rabbits? Are they going at it all the time, like rabbits?
No, not all the time. Only on the full moon.
Oh, right. That's when they go and sow their seeds.
Yes. All night they're at it.
Crikey.
So that's not the time to go looking for boggits. It's on the full moon.
Wow. Gemma says cross species is complicated enough, and Matthew says fluffers prepare the room.
Yeah, they probably do. I don't know what fluffers is.
Boggit fluffers, they're like, I suppose they're like the people that they come in and they like servant people, clean the room and all sorts of that before the boggits come in.
No, they have their own. They have their own cleaners and that sort of thing. You know, they go around and clean each other's apartments.
Really?
Well, they got, you know, yeah. Well, they go underground. They got all sorts of apartments. So I'm told.
Wow. Gemma asked an interesting question. How does Matthew know? That's a very interesting question. How does Matthew know all about the boggit fluffers?
Well, that's a very good question. Unless, of course, he's met with one or two boggits or something before.
Well,
he
must have known some boggits.
Or two, you know.
He must have come across the boggit fluffer.
He must have done. Must have done.
So maybe they're not as rare as you think if Matthew's come across one.
Well, he may have been very lucky.
Yeah.
If he, you know, well, did he have a big wand?
I don't know. I expect he'll come back to me in a minute, and probably explain that or not. I don't know, but you know, I think it's fascinating because what's the scientific community think about your discovery?
Well, I'm not telling them. Crikey. They'd be all over. They'd be all over Bodmin Moor, wouldn't they? They'll be going into that crap pub Jamaica Inn.
Oh,
yeah.
Dear. That's supposed to be haunted.
Well, it's not what it's made out to be. I went there. Well, I stayed there the night before I went out on my trails, and yeah, the old part is lovely. Yeah. You go in there, and like there's a little bar as well. It was just like a mannequin dressed up in the traditional gear and that. Was that the
bar person?
Yeah, but the mannequin, you know.
Well, they weren't very quick at serving beer then.
No, well, no, it's dressed up, a mannequin, like in the shop window, you know, that sort of thing, behind the bar in traditional gear, that sort of thing, and just to show the public what it looked like then. Yeah. Then the rest of the long bar, and that was fine. But then, an old place like this, you think, oh, that's nice, it's lovely, grand, until you walk into the saloon bar, and there's huge, bloody great TV and that on the wall, and you think to yourself, oh my God.
Is that from pirate days? Do you think they had TV then?
No, not then. Did they? Not then. And then you go in, and then I went in, I wanted some, you know, as you do when you go down to Cornwall, you have cream tea, don't you?
Well, you went into Jamaica Inn and had a cream tea. I can't believe it.
No, I went into the gift shop there and wanted to get some cream and get some, because I had some tea bags and I had some milk and that sort of thing, like, you know, in my rucksack. But I wanted to get some Cornish jam and cream, you see? Yeah. But I went in the shop and I picked up the jars and that and looked at the small print at the bottom and it said made in Essex. I thought, bloody hell.
Oh dear.
You know, probably in the most famous pub in the world. And they hadn't even got local jam or cream. It's all made in bloody Essex.
That's wrong, isn't it? I mean, if you started eating that, your body could change, couldn't it? It'd become a temple.
No, it'd turn you into bloody Essex person. Turn you into Joey Essex, I expect, yeah.
Yeah, it would. Then you start speaking like that, wouldn't you? And, you know, throwing your weight about and stuff.
Yeah, I know, yeah. What's the capital of France? France.
Gemma says Margaret Huffer, the boggit fluffer. That sounds like a children's book. And Matthew John here, he's come back now. He says, I've only seen the boggit fluffers in the astral realm. It's funny what you come across in the fourth dimension. And Gemma says the female boggit walked past me and said, do you believe in love at first sight, or do you want me to walk past again? Oh dear. Well, I'll tell you what, I could talk to you for all night. It's quite interesting conversation, to be honest. But you know, unfortunately, we're coming to the end of the show. Gone well over time, but it doesn't matter. But it's been fascinating talking to you, Mr. Monster Hunter. And you know, where are you going next? Where will we expect you to be next?
I'm going to the Antarctic.
That's right. I'm really interested in that in a couple of weeks' time. Really interested in what you find what you see and what you find in Antarctica and what aliens you come across as well.
Probably a lot of snow, I expect.
Well, there'd be a lot of snow. There'd be some penguins as well, and maybe some abominable snowmen. And there's a lot of aliens buried in the ground as well. So you have to be careful there, because the American government will probably want to know why you're going there.
Well, they can want. They were not going to know I'm going to go. They're not going to know I'm going to be there.
Are you swimming there?
No, I'm going to go incognito, aren't I?
Are you? What's that? What's that mean? You're going to go, what, invisible?
No, I'm going to dress up as a polar bear.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. And then they wouldn't know it's you, would you?
No. They wouldn't know. They wouldn't know it was me. Only if I sat down and got a bottle of Rattler out and a pasty, they might know it wasn't a polar bear.
Yeah, but when, won't people notice when you get on a plane or a boat that you're a polar bear?
Man, you walk up and down Glastonbury High Street and you see people dressed up in all sorts of get-ups. Do you really think they're going to give a damn?
Yeah, but I mean, as Matthew says here, I hope you've got a permit to go to Antarctica, because I don't think you can get in Antarctica without a permit.
Don't need a permit.
I suppose it depends on what part you're gonna land on, doesn't it?
Well, I suppose it does, but I'm going to land on a secret location.
Right, and you've mapped that out already. That's really good.
That's all mapped out. That's all sorted.
I'm sure they've got radar all around there, so you might get investigated. They might strip search you.
Well, I'd fly under the radar.
Oh, right. Well, that's all right. No, that's good. It'd be very interesting. It'd be very interesting to see what you find in Antarctica, because there's a lot of strange anomalies going on there. And, anywhere that Tony Blair's been is always quite interesting. And Buzz Aldrin went there as well, and he come back terrified by what he see.
Did he? Oh, all I know is there's some kind of weird low humming vibration coming from the ground, under the ground. So
yeah,
that's one of the main reasons I'm going there to investigate. But I can't say any more than that. No,
of course not. And Gemma actually thinks Antarctica sounds like a nightclub, and then maybe that's what you're hearing, that humming noise. Maybe it's music down below.
That's a strange kind of music, isn't it? What do they expect to dance to that music?
Matthew says
doing the penguin twist.
The penguin dance, yeah.
The penguin twist.
Matthew Johnson said, be careful, Lucifer lives down there. Heard he has a huge telescope.
Pardon?
He says, be careful, Lucifer lives down there, and he's heard he has a huge telescope.
Oh, right, has he?
But you've got a big wand, so I think that, you put him in the shade, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, it's almost like a lightsabers fight on Star Wars, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
My wand and his telescope.
Gemma says, say hi to Santa for me. Yeah, you might come across Santa Claus there. You find out what he's doing 364 days a year.
Probably asleep, I expect, if he's got his sense.
Well, I mean, he must do, because he must be a shift shaper himself, and cut himself into millions of pieces to go and deliver all those presents over that time.
But yeah, I mean, he obviously maybe he is a bit like a gremlin,
He could
over there. Put water on a gremlin and they multiply, don't they? I mean, in the Antarctic, you've got plenty of water and plenty of ice, so he multiplies several times, doesn't he?
That's true. And Gemma actually thinks that that he lives in Lapland, which is not far away, which is well known of where the lap dancers come from. So maybe he's exhausted most of the time.
Well, yeah, probably goes over to Antarctica and that watches the polar dancing.
Yeah, polar dancing, yes.
Yeah, polar bears, pole dancing.
Yeah, well, that'd be different, wouldn't it? You might be expected to do some polar bear pole dancing when you get there, to prove you're a polar bear.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know what the clientele's going to be like there.
Well, I wouldn't like to say. It could be very strange mixed bag, couldn't it?
Yeah, very strange creatures or something, rather like the bar or something in Star Wars.
Well, yes. I mean, I've been in bars like that here. There's one down at the Thatcher's Arms.
Well, that is a strange place. I remember the first time we went in there.
Yeah, I know.
And it was the very first time I've ever been into a pub where, you walk in, everybody turns around and looks and see who's come in, then turns back again to carry on doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
But this lot, they looked at us and said, good evening.
I know. That's worrying, isn't it?
And that was worrying. It just reminded me of American Werewolf in London when they went into the slaughtered lamb up in Yorkshire,
Yeah.
I thought, oh, God, here we go. They're going to feed us with plenty of alcohol, take us down to the cellar, tie us up with cable ties on these benches or something, and cut our fingers off.
Is that what you're hoping for?
No, that's what I thought. But nothing could have been further from the truth. It was absolutely brilliant there, wasn't it? They were so friendly, and they took us in.
Yeah.
We've had plenty of 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning there, haven't we?
We have. Yeah, in the past, in the good old days when you could go to a pub, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Gemma says he uses the chat up line. Do you have any Monster Hunter in you, or would you like some?
That's not a bad one, actually. I might use that in the Antarctic. Might get me a long way, wouldn't it?
You'd have to speak it in polar bear, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, but I don't think that I'd be doing anything like that over there, because you know what happens to something if it gets really cold, don't you? Well,
yes, of course, absolutely. Gemma says, would he share his pasty? I don't know, Gemma, to be honest. Probably not. Matthew John says the Thatcher's Arms in Bridgewater.
No, Thatcher's Arms in Moorland.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And there was Moorland. Well, I don't know what to say. It's been fascinating talking to you tonight, Mr. Monster Hunter. And I think it's been captivating. I think that our audience has learnt so much from you tonight. It's quite unbelievable. Gemma says it's nearly Valentine's Day.
Well, it's getting that way, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it is. It's a day of love.
Yeah, I suppose it is.
Yeah.
But us Monster Hunters, we don't have time for love.
Don't you? Oh, okay. Well, you're always out throwing your meat about, aren't you?
Well, that's it. Yeah, always shaking my wand about, exploring different places, different countries, different myths, different legends.
Gemma says your audience is filthy. Well, I told them all the time to go and get a wash, but they don't do it, But I had a bath last year anyway.
Well, you had one last year. You're lucky.
When did you last have a bath, Monster Hunter?
Several years ago.
Really? My God. Do you self-clean then? Do you self-cleanse?
No, I have showers.
You have showers? What, thought showers?
No, normal showers.
Oh, right. So what with water?
Yeah, one normally has a shower with water, yes.
Are you one of these people that have it cold?
I beg your pardon?
do you like it cold?
No, it has to be quite warm. And I told you before, because you know what happens when something gets cold.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Gemma says a botherer, your caller is. Matthew says, good night, everyone. We have to go now. It's been fantastic speaking to you. Mirandering through the life of the Monster Hunter.
Absolutely.
And it's fantastic to speak to you. And I'm sure we'll speak to you in a couple of weeks' time where we'll find you dressed up as a bear in Antarctica.
Yep. And I shall leave you to the last bit of your show while I can get back to my pasty and my rattler.
Yes. And you have a good rest of the evening. And we will speak to you soon.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
I'll catch you soon. Bye.
Bye. There he is. That's the Monster Hunter talking about the boggets. Wow. Went well over time, but hey, what's the matter? What an interesting show. Fascinating guests, every single one of them. well done to them all. Moira, well done to Teresa, well done to Grant, and well done to the Monster Hunter, and well done to you for all listening tonight. It's been a brilliant show. Loved it to bits. Very fascinating, very interesting. Don't forget to tune in on Wednesday. It's back. Basically, your show where you can ring in, you can comment, do whatever you like, and I will be bringing you a selection of news. I'll be talking about all sorts of different things. Some of the things I spoke about tonight I'll go in a bit more detail. And we're also going to be looking at the island at the moment that's going through a coup, which is the island of Myanmar. I think I said that right. So some known facts about that place as well. So and we'll look at other things as well. And if anyone out there wants me to talk about anything, please do contact me. And we've got a vast array of ways of contacting me now, not just on Facebook and Twitter and all the other ways. There's lots of other ways we're open up as well. So you've been amazing guests. You've been amazing audience tonight. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Do watch it, like it, subscribe to it, and send it to all your friends if you like as well, because it's good to share at this time. We'll have a safe time, and I will see you on Wednesday evening, and we will do it all over again. And of course, next week with another set of